Most riders think they know how to ride until the myths, hidden maintenance tricks, and silent mistakes catch up and cost them big. Over the next hours, we're unpacking 100 plus real secrets pulled from pro mechanics, riding coaches, and decades of road-tested experience. From engine-saving habits nobody tells you about to the riding myths that quietly wreck bikes and cause crashes, it's all here. If you ride on two wheels, you can't afford to miss this survival guide. 9 mistakes in the rain. Every new rider makes, don't make them. Mistake number 1, riding too fast in wet conditions. Wet roads kill traction. In fact, as one source notes, wet pavement reduces tire grip, increasing stopping distances and making turns more dangerous. A common beginner error is to keep normal highway speed when the rain starts, a deadly mistake. Even with fancy ABS or traction control, you must slow down. For example, if you normally take a 30-mile-per-hour corner at full speed, cut it to 15 miles per hour in the rain. Many riders underestimate how little traction they have. A safer rule: ride at least 50% slower than your dry weather pace on wet roads. Bikes are prone to hydroplaning. Even a small puddle at speed can toss you down the road. The faster you go, the higher your risk. Approach every turn as if the road is coated in oil. Number 2. Braking too hard or too late. You might think grabbing a handful of the front brake will save you, but not in the rain. Skidding is deadly. Experts advise braking smoothly and evenly. Friedman Law's safety tips emphasize: use both brakes simultaneously but with gentle pressure. Gradually apply the brakes to prevent skidding. Likewise, another guide warns to decelerate and gradually apply both front and rear brakes together to avoid sliding. In practice, ease off the throttle early and squeeze the brake levers gently. Pulling only the front brake or jamming it can lock the wheel instantly. Balanced braking, a light pull on both pedals, is much safer. If you feel the wheels slide, ease pressure immediately to regain traction. You can also downshift to use engine braking and slow the bike without a violent lever pull. Importantly, braking distance jumps in the rain. Wet roads reduce the effectiveness of brakes, so always brake sooner. Stopping distances can easily double or triple. For example, 2 car lengths on dry asphalt might become 5 or more when it's soaked. In short, smooth, early braking keeps control and helps you avoid a crash. Avoid panic stops and stay calm on the levers. Number 3. Over-leaning through turns. Riding aggressively into corners is a disaster in the rain. On a slick surface, even a moderate lean can send you down. Experts say, keep your bike as upright as possible when turning. One guide explains that wet roads offer less traction, so decelerate first, apply gentle brakes, then turn slowly while keeping the bike upright. Instead of banking hard, focus on smooth control. Ease off the gas and guide the bike through curves gently, using gradual throttle and steering inputs. Look through the turn, not at where you don't want to go, and let the motorcycle's balance do the work. Give yourself extra room into each corner and sacrifice some lean angle. Ride each turn like it's on ice, with minimal lean and smooth steering. Number 4. Poor visibility. Rain slashes visibility. If you blend into gray, drivers won't see you. Friedman Law stresses: rain can reduce visibility for both riders and others. Keep your headlights on. Wear high visibility gear. That means bright, reflective rain suits and running lights at all times. The biker lawyers echo this. Wear bright colors and always turn on your headlight in rain. Even daytime running lights help. Also, watch your helmet visor and eyewear. Rain and fog can obscure vision instantly. Install a pin lock or anti-fog visor and treat its outer surface with water-repellent spray, like Rain X. Keep the visor clean, and if necessary, crack it open slightly to improve airflow and reduce fogging. Avoid tinted shields at night or in heavy downpour. Remember, if you can't see clearly, neither can others. Stay bright, stay visible. Number 5. Wrong lane or road positioning. Where you ride in your lane matters a lot. Right after rain starts, the center of the lane is coated in oil and is ultra-slick. Beginners often learn this the hard way. Instead, aim to ride in one of the tire tracks that cars have cleared. Similarly, avoid the very edges of the road when it's wet. dirt and gravel accumulate there and kill traction. Scan for special hazards, painted lines, arrows, and metal surfaces. Painted stripes and crosswalk markings can be as slippery as ice when wet. Manhole covers, drainage grates, and tram rails become deadly slick. If you must cross one of these, do it very slowly and straight, with no lean. In short, hunt for the cleanest, driest path through every section. A smooth, centered line but avoiding the painted center is usually your best bet in the rain. Number 6. Following too closely. Tailgating is a deadly mistake, especially in the rain. Wet roads drastically increase stopping distances, so that 2-second gap in dry weather isn't enough. Experts say in rain, double your cushion. If a 3-second gap is normal, make it 6. Always keep well behind the bike or car ahead. Friedman Law warns that wet roads reduce the effectiveness of brakes, so never assume you can brake late. This extra space gives you time to react if traffic ahead suddenly slows. Moreover, avoid riding in another vehicle's spray or blind spots. A truck can throw up a sheet of water that blinds you. Give them extra room or drop further back. Never lane split or weave between cars in the rain. In short, respect the space. Give everybody twice the room you would in dry weather. Number 7. Neglecting tire condition. Never underestimate your tires. Riding on old or underinflated tires in the rain invites disaster. If your treads are bald or too shallow, you instantly lose grip. Friedman Law's guide advises opt for tires designed for wet traction and always check tread depth. Worn-out treads can significantly reduce grip in wet weather. Equally, low air pressure is dangerous. One source warns a softly inflated tire makes the ride unstable and prone to washout. Before every rainy ride, verify tire pressure and tread. Inflate to the manufacturer's specification and replace tires if needed. Remember, even a 5% underpressure can flatten the contact patch and trigger a slide. If you carry a passenger or luggage, adjust pressure accordingly. Extra weight changes the tire's profile. Treat your tires like crucial gear. A well-prepared tire is your first line of defense. Number 8. Inadequate rain gear or defogging. Getting drenched is more than an inconvenience. Cold, wet hands, and a soaked rider lose control. Always wear proper rain gear. Friedman Law advises investing in waterproof jackets, pants, and gloves, and biker tips remind us to stay dry. Keep yourself dry by wearing waterproof riding gear. That means not just a jacket, but also waterproof boots and socks. Dry, warm riders react faster. Similarly, fogged visors are a silent hazard. Water droplets, breath, and temperature differences can fog up your shield. Use a pin lock or anti-fog spray and keep the visor clean. If your visor still fogs, crack it open slightly to improve airflow. Avoid stuffing thick scarves inside the helmet, as they trap moisture. Instead, wear a thin balaclava for warmth. In a word, dress for the worst. Dry gear from head to toe. Number 9. Ignoring road hazards. Water hides problems on the road. Puddles can conceal potholes or sudden dips. Friedman Law warns that puddles and standing water can hide potholes or other hazards. Riders who shoot through big puddles at speed often skid unexpectedly. Even ordinary road markings become deadly when wet. Painted stripes and crosswalks become as slippery as ice. Metal plates, grates, and patches of tar can catch you off guard. Whenever you see standing water, slow down and cross it with caution. If possible, avoid it altogether. Straddle small puddles or ride around them at low speed. Never brake hard or steer sharply in water or you'll wash out. Also be alert for other surprises. Oil leaks, fallen leaves, or road debris that lurk beneath puddles. Assume every wet patch is slippery. Treat it like ice. Rain riding can be challenging even for veterans. There's no shame in holding up traffic if it keeps you safe. In fact, a top safety tip is simply to wait it out. If rain becomes too heavy or visibility is severely compromised, consider pulling over and waiting. Better 5 minutes late than off the road. 9 secrets to make your motorcycle last a lifetime, you won't believe. Number 9. Warm up your engine wisely. One of the fastest ways to wear down a motorcycle engine is by revving it hard when it's still cold. About 90% of engine wear happens during cold starts before the oil has fully circulated. The metal internals are dry and vulnerable in those first moments. Yet many riders hit the starter, hear it fire, and immediately crack the throttle. That's a recipe for grinding friction and microscoring on pistons and bearings. The smart habit is simple. Start the bike, let it idle for 30 to 60 seconds, and then ride gently for the first few miles. Don't sit and idle forever, that just causes fuel dilution, but avoid any heavy throttle until the oil has reached operating temperature. Fuel-injected bikes especially like a short idle and light load warm-up, not high RPM. Using a full synthetic oil helps too, as it flows quickly at low temps. Treat your engine gently during that first minute, and you'll dramatically cut cold start wear. Number 8. Avoid frequent short trips. Another hidden engine killer, repeated short rides. Quick 5-minute hops to the store don't let the engine or exhaust fully heat up, which traps moisture and fuel residue inside. That moisture can condense into the crankcase and mix with the oil, forming acidic sludge that corrodes internals. It also never gets hot enough to recharge the battery, slowly draining it. Mechanics warn that moisture from cold starts condenses where water does not belong if the engine isn't brought to full operating temp. Try to group errands or take a longer route so each ride lasts 20 to 30 minutes. That gives the oil time to burn off contaminants and the battery time to recharge. If you only do short trips, change oil more often and keep the battery on a tender. Engines that never stretch their legs will slowly rust and sludge from the inside. Number 7. Keep your bike clean and rust-free. Neglecting cleaning is one of the quietest ways to shorten a motorcycle's life. U.S. roads throw up grime, rain, and in many regions, corrosive road salt. Salt left on chrome, aluminum, or steel will chew through it. Before long storage or after a salty ride, always give your bike a deep wash and wax. Bug guts and mud can trap moisture against paint and metal. Use a mild cleaner on metal surfaces and follow up with a corrosion protectant spray on exposed bolts, spokes, and frame rails. Then cover the bike with a breathable cover, not a plastic tarp, to shield from dust and humidity without trapping moisture. UV rays can also degrade plastics and seals, so protection is key. Keeping your motorcycle clean isn't just cosmetic. It prevents rust on the frame, chain, engine cases, and electrical connections, and makes it easier to spot leaks or cracks early. Number 6. Take care of your chain and drivetrain. Many riders cruise thousands of miles with barely a thought about their chain. That's a mistake. An unlubed, loose chain wears fast and can even snap, potentially locking the rear wheel or cracking the engine case. At minimum, inspect the chain before rides. Check slack, tension, and any stiff links. Clean it every few hundred miles using kerosene or a proper cleaner to remove grit. Then lube it while warm so the oil penetrates the O-rings. Keep it at the tension listed in your owner's manual. Too loose will slap and wear. Too tight will strain the gearbox bearings. Riders who maintain their chain every 500 miles often get triple the life from it. And it's not just about the chain. A clean, aligned drivetrain puts less shock on your engine and transmission. Shaft and belt drives need less work, but should still be inspected for play or cracks. Neglecting the chain is one of the fastest ways to shorten a bike's lifespan. Number 5. Refresh all fluids on schedule. Neglecting minor fluids quietly destroys motorcycles over time, and it's a mistake most riders don't even realize they're making. Everyone remembers oil changes, but the other fluids, brake fluid, coolant, and fork oil, are just as critical for keeping your bike alive for the long haul. Brake fluid is hygroscopic, meaning it absorbs moisture from the air. Over time, that water corrodes the inside of brake lines, master cylinders, and calipers. It also lowers the fluid's boiling point, which can cause brake fade under hard stops. Skipping this service lets corrosion eat your braking system from the inside out. The fix is simple. Flush and replace brake fluid every 2 years without fail. Coolant is another overlooked fluid that turns acidic as it ages. Old coolant loses its anti-corrosion additives, allowing rust and scale to build inside your water pump, radiator, and cooling passages. This hidden decay can lead to overheating or catastrophic leaks. Change coolant every 2 to 3 years to keep internal parts safe. Even fork oil, something many riders never touch, breaks down after about 20,000 miles. Dirty fork oil can't protect seals or bushings, causing leaks and sloppy suspension. Do these fluid changes especially before winter storage so contaminated fluids aren't sitting inside. Use high-quality fluids, synthetic oil, and proper motorcycle coolant to give your bike the best defense against corrosion, heat stress, and seal wear. Number 4. Use quality fuel and don't run on fumes. Bad fueling habits can destroy longevity. Cheap gas with low detergents leaves carbon deposits, and ethanol blends pull in moisture that corrodes fuel systems, especially in older carb bikes. When storing the bike for more than a few weeks, always use a fuel stabilizer, or better yet, ethanol-free fuel if available. Another overlooked trick: don't ride constantly on near empty. The fuel cools and lubricates the in-tank fuel pump. Running the tank dry or frequently hitting reserve overheats the pump and stirs up sediment from the bottom. Also, an empty tank rusts from inside. Keep it at least 1/4 full during normal use and full with stabilizer during long storage. Clean, stable fuel and a full tank keep your pump, injectors, and engine running strong for decades. Number 3. Store it properly. During the off-season, improper winter storage ruins thousands of bikes every year. Simply parking it for months invites corrosion, dead batteries, and clogged fuel. Instead, prep it. Change the oil, fill the tank, and add stabilizer. Wash and wax the bike, and keep the battery on a maintainer. Cover it with a breathable cover and plug the exhaust to keep critters out. A critical secret: don't just start it once in a while, unless you're going to ride it long enough to get fully hot. Starting and idling in a garage only creates condensation inside and leaves raw fuel on cylinder walls. Either ride it for 20+ minutes or leave it winterized and untouched. Also inflate the tires to correct pressure or use stands to prevent flat spots. Storing it clean, full, and dry is the difference between a bike that wakes up perfectly in spring and one that slowly corrodes in silence. Number 2. Don't lug the engine. Riding in a high gear at very low RPM while applying heavy throttle is one of the most misunderstood habits among US riders, especially cruiser and touring bike owners. It feels smooth and quiet, so many assume it's easier on the engine. In reality, it's doing the opposite. When you lug the engine, you're forcing it to produce a lot of power while it's barely turning. This spikes cylinder pressure and combustion heat while the oil pump is spinning too slowly to fully protect moving parts. The result is brutal stress on pistons, connecting rods, bearings, and valve train components. It also increases the risk of detonation violent, uncontrolled combustion that hammers the piston crowns and can crack ringlands over time. Instead, you should downshift and keep the engine in its power band where it runs smoothly, with enough RPM for strong oil flow. A well-lubricated engine spinning around 3,000 RPM will last far longer than one chugging at 1,200 RPM under load. Don't confuse low RPM with gentle treatment. Lugging is silent abuse. Use the right gear, keep your revs steady and strong, not screaming, but never straining, and your engine will reward you with years of reliable life. Number 1. Don't skip. Major scheduled maintenance. The biggest secret of all: do the major maintenance most riders avoid. Chief among these is valve clearance adjustments. Tight valves eventually burn, loose valves hammer cams, and both can destroy an engine. Every bike lists an inspection interval, often around every 10,000 to 20,000 miles, and skipping it is gambling with your motor's life. Likewise, check steering head bearings, wheel bearings, suspension fluid, and air filters on schedule. Many riders ignore these until something fails. Instead, make an annual habit of a full inspection or a pro checkup. Catching small leaks, frayed hoses, or worn bearings early can prevent catastrophic damage. The truth is simple. Bikes that hit 100,000+ miles do so because their owners never skip the big stuff. Follow your manual to the letter and your motorcycle will last decades. 9 clutch mistakes. Every new rider makes, avoid them now. Mistake number 1, dumping the clutch on takeoff. Dumping means snapping the lever out from a stop. The result is a jolt, a stall, or if your body position isn't ready, a tip over. What's happening mechanically is simple. The engine and gearbox are being forced to match speeds instantly. That shock travels through the basket, plates, primary drive, chain, and rear tire. Do it a few times and you'll glaze plates. Do it hard once and you can stall right in front of cross traffic. Fix it. Find the friction zone. The small lever travels where the bike first starts to creep and live there for a beat. Bring the revs just above idle. Ease to the friction zone until the bike rolls. Hold steady a second to stabilize balance, then continue releasing smoothly. Every bike's bite point is unique. Spend 10 minutes in a lot practicing one bike length launches until you can do 10 in a row without a dip or surge. That smooth, consistent hand is what stops stalls and saves clutches. Number 2, slipping the clutch excessively. Nerves create the opposite problem. Holding the lever half in while revving too high. A wet clutch is designed to slip briefly at low speed, but long slips at elevated RPM build heat fast. That heat bakes the resin in the friction material, the plates glaze, and soon you feel revs climbing without matching acceleration. Classic slip. Fix it. Use just enough RPM to avoid a stall, often 1.5 to 2.5 K on many street twins or fours, and shorten your time in the friction zone. As soon as the bike rolls and balances, complete the release. If you ever smell that hot, sweet fiber smell, that's your warning to back off. A drill that works. Practice smooth, launches up a gentle incline using the lowest possible RPM that still keeps the bike running. You'll learn how little revs you really need. Number 3, lugging the engine. Trying to launch in second or letting the bike chug at very low RPM in a tall gear is abuse in disguise. At low crank speed, the oil pump flows less, cylinder pressures spike under load, and the engine knocks and shudders. It feels kinder because the sound is quieter, but mechanically it's harder on everything. Fix it. Downshift to first as you roll to a stop so you're always ready for a clean launch. When rolling, keep the engine in a healthy band. If you open the throttle and the bike hesitates or vibrates, you're lugging a gear. A simple rule: if the engine won't pull smoothly with a small throttle opening, you're in too tall a gear. Downshift, then reapply gentle throttle. Number 4, half pulls and half releases. Covering the clutch with 2 fingers is fine, as long as you still fully disengage for shifts and fully engage when you're done. Many beginners unknowingly ride with the lever slightly tugged, which creates constant microslip. That generates heat, wastes power, and gives the bike a mushy, disconnected feel. The inverse, only half pulling to shift, leaves gears partially loaded and makes shifts clunkier, which can round dogs over time. Fix it. Commit to binary intent. All the way in for the shift, all the way out when you're done. Set your lever reach and cable free play so full travel is easy for your hand. You want a small free play window at the lever tip so the clutch fully locks when released, but still clears cleanly when pulled. Avoid resting weight on the lever while cruising. Grip the bar, not the blade. Number 5, skipping the clutch at slow speed. Counterintuitive but crucial. At parking lot pace, you should use the clutch. Many riders try to idle around with the lever out. Then the bike surges and wobbles. Others pull the clutch completely and coast, which removes drive and stability. A motorcycle wants a steady trickle of power at walking pace to stay balanced. Fix it. Work the slow speed trio, slight throttle, clutch in the friction zone, light rear brake. The rear brake adds stability. The clutch meters power. The steady throttle keeps the engine happy. Practice tight figure eights and U-turns with your eyes level and head turned. Keep the driveline loaded the whole time and don't go from full engage to full disengage mid-turn. This is the difference between foot-down panic turns and clean, confident maneuvers. Number 6, coasting with the clutch in when you should be in gear. Pulling the clutch to coast down hills or through corners removes engine braking and the stabilizing effect of a driven rear wheel. If you suddenly need to react, accelerate, adjust line, or recover traction, you first have to re-engage the clutch and match revs. That delay is where mistakes happen, and snapping a mismatched clutch can chirp or hop the rear tire. Fix it. Stay in gear. Do your braking and downshifting before the turn, pick the right gear, then apply a maintenance throttle through the corner. On descents, use engine braking alongside your brakes so speed doesn't run away. Reserve clutch-in coasting for true emergencies or the last roll to a stop when the bike is already upright and straight. Number 7. Clumsy downshifts. Banging 2 gears down and popping the clutch throws a hammer at the driveline. The engine must jump to a higher RPM instantly, which yanks the rear wheel and unsettles the chassis. Without a slipper clutch, you can chirp or lock the rear, especially in rain, gravel, or mid-corner. Fix it. Rev match. As you downshift, give a quick, controlled throttle blip with the clutch in so engine speed rises to meet the lower gear, then release the lever smoothly. If blipping feels advanced at first, just slow the clutch release so the engine has time to catch up. Practice on straight roads. Downshift 1 gear at a time from 3rd to 2nd at moderate speed, blip, and feel for the seamless catch. The goal is 0 lurch, 0 chirp, just smooth deceleration with control. Number 8. Holding the clutch in at every stoplight. Sitting at a long red light with the lever pinned against the bar keeps the release mechanism loaded the whole time. Over months and years, that adds wear to the release bearing and ramp surfaces. It also fatigues your left hand, making an accidental slip more likely, and if someone taps your rear wheel, your hand can jump and the bike can leap. Fix it. Be strategic. If the stop is brief or you're watching mirrors because traffic is still approaching, first gear with the clutch in is fine. Be ready to move. If it's a long wait and you've got a car blocking behind you, click into neutral and release the lever. When the cross traffic gets yellow, pre-select first and be ready. You reduce component wear and keep your hand fresh without giving up safety. Number 9. Neglecting clutch setup and care. A surprising number of clutch problems are adjustment problems. Too much free play, and the clutch won't fully disengage hard shifts, creeping at lights. Too little free play, and it won't fully engage slip under power and rapid wear. Hydraulic systems can feel spongy with old fluid or air. The wrong engine oil can make a wet clutch slip, even if the pack is healthy. Fix it. Check free play regularly. Use the perch adjuster to get it right. If you run out of adjustment, set the lower adjuster at the cable. Lube the cable periodically so the lever action stays light and linear. For hydraulic clutches, keep fluid fresh and bled, and use motorcycle-rated oil. Look for JASOMA or MA2. It's formulated for shared sump wet clutches. Finally, pay attention to symptoms. Revs rise, but speed doesn't equal slip. Hard to find neutral or bike creeps with lever pulled equals not fully disengaging. Engagement point wandering equals cable stretch, heat fade, or fluid issues. Inspect before it strands you. Pro practice plan. 5 quick drills to lock this in. Friction zone launches. In an empty lot, perform 10 one-bike length starts. Engine barely above idle. Goal: 0 stalls, 0 surges. Hill starts. Repeat on a mild incline using the rear brake and clutch together. Goal: no rollback, minimal slip smell. Figure eights. Steady 2 to 3,000 RPM, clutch feathered, light rear brake. Goal: bars at full lock without dabbing. Rev matched downs. From 30 miles per hour, downshift 3 to 2 to 1 with a crisp blip each time. Goal: no lurch, no rear hop. Stoplight routine. Alternate long stop neutral versus short stop first gear holds to build the habit of being strategic. Run these once a week for a month and your clutch control will jump a full skill tier. 8+3 Motorcycle myths busted by an engineer. Myth number 1. Loud pipes. Save lives. Many believe a loud exhaust will alert drivers and prevent accidents. The truth: even extremely loud pipes are barely heard inside cars until the bike is right next to them. By then, it's too late. A detailed study confirmed loud pipes save lives is a myth. Finding even the loudest bikes were hard to hear in modern vehicles. Rather than rely on noise, smart riders focus on being visible and predicting hazards. And about loud pipes giving more power, not really. A less restrictive pipe might add a hair of peak horsepower, but often at the cost of mid-range torque if the engine isn't tuned for it. Overall, loud pipes mostly add noise. They won't magically make you safer or faster. Number 2, only use the rear brake. Some riders are told the front brake is dangerous, so they favor the rear brake. Let's bust that. Around 70% of your stopping power comes from the front brake. When you brake, weight shifts forward, giving the front tire much more grip while the rear gets light and can skid easily. Ignore the front, and you hugely increase your stopping distance. The shortest, safest stops use both brakes. And no, using the front brake correctly will not flip your bikes designed for it. The engineering truth. The front brake is your primary stopper. Learn to use it smoothly instead of fearing it. Number 3, I laid it down to avoid a crash. This myth claims intentionally dropping your bike can prevent a worse crash. In reality, laying it down is just crashing on purpose. You're almost always better off staying upright and braking or swerving. Every bit of braking on the wheels reduces your speed and gives you a chance to avoid or lessen a collision. If you drop the bike, you lose all control and often make things worse. Safety instructors emphasize maintaining control and using your brakes, not abandoning the bike. The "had to lay it down" tale comes from a bygone era of weaker brakes. Today's motorcycles have excellent brakes and tires. Don't ever purposely lay it down. Use that time and distance to slow or steer away instead. Most riders overpay or miss hidden issues when buying a motorcycle. Our Pro Edition Survival Blueprint shows you how to inspect like a mechanic, avoid costly breakdowns, and negotiate so you never pay more than market value. Link is in the pinned comment. Number 4. Lane splitting is lunatic behavior. A motorcyclist filtering forward between cars. Studies show lane splitting, when done prudently, isn't as dangerous as many think. A lot of people assume lane splitting is reckless and crazy. However, research shows lane splitting can be done safely under the right conditions. A UC Berkeley study found that responsible lane splitting reduces the risk of being rear-ended and did not increase crash rates for the motorcyclist doing it. By filtering forward, you also spend less time sitting in stop-and-go traffic as a target. Of course, it's crucial to do it carefully and only where legal. But the blanket idea that lane splitting is suicide is a myth. When executed with care, lane splitting is a useful technique that leverages a bike's agility without undue risk. Number 5. Car tires are fine on a bike. Some riders attempt to use car tires on bikes, an ill-advised experiment. A few riders try mounting a car tire on the rear wheel of their motorcycle to get longer tire life. Just because it fits the rim doesn't mean it works. The Motorcycle Industry Council warns, never mount a passenger car tire on a motorcycle rim. The flat profile of a car tire is incompatible with the dynamics of a vehicle that leans. In plain terms, motorcycles need rounded tire profiles to corner properly. A car tire's flat tread won't maintain a proper contact patch when you lean, making the bike handle unpredictably. An engineer's bottom line: your bike's handling and safety depend on motorcycle-specific tires. A car tire might last longer, but it will seriously compromise stability and grip. Number 6. Always warm up your engine for minutes. You might see riders start their bike and let it idle for 5 to 10 minutes to warm up. The truth is, modern engines don't need long idling, and excessive idling can even be harmful. It's enough to idle for about 30 seconds to a minute on a cold start just to get the oil moving. After that, riding gently will bring the engine up to temperature more effectively. In fact, prolonged idling when cold can cause incomplete combustion that washes oil off cylinder walls and dilutes your oil. Not good for engine health. Tests show that a short idle then easy riding warms a bike faster and more uniformly. So don't waste time and fuel by idling forever. Give it a brief warm-up, then ease into your ride. Your engine will thank you. Number 7. Higher octane fuel equals more power. Many riders assume using premium fuel will boost their bike's speed or smoothness, but that's a myth. Octane rating measures a fuel's resistance to knock, not its power output. If your engine isn't designed for high-octane fuel, using it won't add horsepower, torque, or better mileage, it just costs more. Your motorcycle is engineered to run at its best on the fuel grade specified in the owner's manual. In fact, using unnecessarily high-octane fuel can sometimes lead to incomplete combustion in lower compression engines, reducing efficiency slightly. Premium fuel is only useful if your bike's manufacturer specifically requires it, typically for high compression or performance engines where knock resistance is critical. For the vast majority of motorcycles, regular or mid-grade fuel works perfectly. Premium isn't a magic power booster. Stick to the recommended octane and you'll get maximum performance, efficiency, and reliability without wasting money. Number 8. Every aftermarket mod gives you power. There's a whole aftermarket industry promising more power exhausts, air filters, tuner kits, etc. But bolting on parts blindly can hurt performance more than help. Often a bike will run worse after an ill-considered upgrade if it's not tuned properly. For example, installing a racing exhaust without adjusting the fuel map can make the engine run too lean. In fact, mechanics say many bikes that run poorly are fixed by simply removing such mods and reverting to stock. This isn't to say you can't improve your bike, but it must be done as a coordinated package. Don't believe the myth that each add-on automatically adds power without proper tuning. You might just be making your bike louder or less reliable, not faster. Number 9. Countersteering is overhyped. Some riders insist they don't countersteer and that they just lean, suggesting countersteering is a myth. In reality, countersteering is absolutely real and the only way a motorcycle turns at speed. When you want to turn right, you briefly push the right handlebar forward. This tiny push causes the bike to lean right, initiating the turn. It might feel backward, but it's how motorcycle physics works. At speeds above about 10 to 15 miles per hour, leaning alone won't make the bike turn. Handlebar input is what tips the bike into the curve. Most riders do it subconsciously, which is why it feels like just leaning. But if you try steering a bike like a car, it resists and stays upright. Practicing conscious countersteering makes cornering sharper and emergency swerves quicker, giving you far more control and confidence whenever you ride. Number 10. I don't need gear for a short ride. You might hear someone say, I'm just going down the street. I don't need a jacket or a helmet. Pavement is unforgiving no matter the distance. Even a low-speed crash can cause nasty injuries if you're unprotected. A full-face helmet alone greatly reduces the risk of head and facial injury. And the rest of your gear jacket with armor, gloves, pants, boots can be the difference between a minor scrape and major trauma. You can't predict when an accident will happen. That's why we wear gear. The myth that gear is optional for skilled riders or short trips is dangerous. Every time you ride, wearing proper gear is a simple way to hugely improve your odds in a crash. Don't leave it to luck to wear your gear, no matter how short the ride. Number 11. Set tire pressure. Once, you're good. Tire pressure isn't set and forget, yet some riders hardly ever check theirs. The reality: tires slowly lose pressure, and even a small drop can affect handling and safety. It's important to check your tire pressure regularly, ideally before each ride, or at least every week or two. Proper pressure ensures your tires have the optimal contact patch and handling characteristics. If pressure is too low, the bike may feel sluggish in turns and the tires can overheat or wear unevenly. Too high, and you get less grip and a harsher ride. Those two palm-sized patches of rubber are all that connect you to the road, so give them some attention. It's a quick, easy check that can prevent a lot of trouble. In motorcycling, knowledge equals safety. We've busted some big myths with engineering facts. Knowing the truth behind these myths will help you take better care of your bike and yourself. So next time you hear a questionable tip on the road or online, you'll be ready to set the record straight. Ride smart, trust the science, and keep the rubber side down. 11 Japanese secrets to make your motorcycle last 100,000 miles. Number 1. Frequent oil changes with the right oil. Japanese riders are famously obsessive about oil. While many US owners stick to 5,000-plus mile oil change intervals, Japanese mechanics often change oil at around 1,800 to 2,000 miles. Why? Because engine oil is the lifeblood of a high-revving motorcycle. Contaminated or degraded oil can't protect tight-tolerance Japanese engines, and it accelerates internal wear. Equally important is using oil that's JSO MA or MA2 rated. These motorcycle-specific oils don't contain the friction modifiers found in car oils, which can make wet clutches slip. Many US riders unknowingly shorten their clutch life by using standard automotive oil. The Japanese secret is simple. Use the right oil and change it early. Fresh oil keeps the engine lubricated, cool, and clean, letting it survive for 6 figures of mileage. Number 2. Meticulous cleaning to prevent corrosion. In Japan, bikes don't just look showroom clean by chance, it's intentional preservation. Road salt, moisture, and grime silently corrode metal and rubber if left alone. Japanese riders wash their bikes frequently, especially after rain or coastal rides, and always dry them thoroughly. More importantly, they inspect while cleaning, checking for loose bolts, leaks, or cracks as they wipe down every surface. They also apply corrosion protectants or wax on exposed metal parts to prevent oxidation, especially on chain guards, exhausts, and engine cases. In the US, where many bikes sit dirty for weeks, this habit is rare. But this cosmetic-seeming ritual is actually mechanical defense. Clean bikes don't corrode, and corroded bikes don't make it. Number 3. Chain care, like a Japanese mechanic. The chain is one of the most abused yet ignored components. Japanese riders treat it with near reverence because a dry, tight, or dirty chain destroys sprockets, bearings, and gearboxes over time. They clean it every 300 to 500 miles, often using kerosene and a soft brush, and re-lube it immediately after riding, so the oil penetrates while warm. They also maintain the correct slack, usually about 1 to 1.5 inches of free play. US riders often over-tighten chains, not realizing that when the suspension compresses, a tight chain can yank on the countershaft bearing and wear it out. A smooth, well-lubricated chain runs cooler, quieter, and lasts 3 to 4 times longer. The Japanese know this, and their bikes regularly hit 100 kilometers with their original sprockets still intact. Most riders overpay or miss hidden issues when buying a motorcycle. Our Pro Edition Survival Blueprint shows you how to inspect like a mechanic, avoid costly breakdowns, and negotiate so you never pay more than market value. Link is in the pinned comment. Number 4. On time, valve. Clearance adjustments. This is the big one almost everyone ignores. Valve adjustments are tedious. So many riders just never do them. But Japanese owners almost never skip this service. As valves wear, their clearances shrink. Tight valves stop sealing fully, creating hot spots that can burn the valve face, ruin compression, and kill your engine long before 100,000. Loose valves hammer the cam lobes and can throw off timing. Japanese mechanics check valves like clockwork, usually every 12,000 to 15,000 miles. It's preventative surgery, cheap and inconvenient, but the alternative is a cooked top end. This alone is why many Japanese bikes run perfectly at mile 90,000, while others are dead by 40,000. Follow the valve schedule religiously. Number 5. Refresh all fluids. Not just oil. Ask a typical US rider about fluids and they'll mention oil and nothing else. Japanese maintenance culture takes the opposite view. All fluids are critical. Coolant turns acidic with age and slowly corrodes radiators and water pumps. Brake fluid absorbs moisture, which corrodes brake lines and calipers from inside. Fork oil breaks down and stops protecting fork bushings and seals. Japanese riders swap coolant every 2 to 3 years, brake fluid every 1 to 2, and fork oil around every 20,000 miles. They often do it before winter storage, so contaminated fluid isn't sitting inside the system all winter. This hidden secret stops slow internal corrosion, the silent killer that ends most motorcycles long before their time. Number 6. Gentle warm-ups and smooth riding habits. Japanese riders rarely rev cold engines. They start the bike, let it idle for 30 to 60 seconds, and then ride gently for the first few miles. This avoids cold scuffing when thick oil hasn't reached the top end yet, and metal parts expand at different rates. They also ride with mechanical sympathy. No full throttle redline runs on every ride, but also no lugging the engine at 1,500 RPM in top gear. They keep the engine spinning smoothly in its happy zone, where oil pressure and cooling are optimal. This respectful riding style massively reduces long-term wear. While many riders beat their bikes to death at redline or chug them at idle speeds, Japanese riders aim for balance. That balance is why their engines still purr at 100,000 miles. Number 7. Storage rituals that prevent aging. One of the biggest killers of motorcycles in the US is poor storage. Bikes get parked for winter and forgotten. Japanese riders do the opposite. They ritualize storage. They top off the fuel tank and add stabilizer to prevent ethanol gumming. They hook up a battery tender to prevent sulfation. They clean and wax the bike to remove corrosive road grime. They inflate tires to spec and often use stands to prevent flat spots. They even block the exhaust and airbox with mesh to keep critters out. The most surprising part? They never start it just to idle. That creates condensation in the crankcase. Instead, they either ride it fully to operating temperature or don't start it at all until spring. This storage discipline alone can add a decade of life to a motorcycle. Number 8. Premium fuel and periodic system cleaning. Japan's fuel is extremely high quality, often 98 plus octane, and their bikes are tuned for it. While US gas is usually fine, many Japanese riders use top-tier premium fuel even if their bike only requires regular. This keeps carbon buildup lower over time. They also routinely add fuel system cleaners, especially on older carbureted bikes. These additives dissolve varnish in jets and carbon on valves, which restores combustion efficiency. Without this, deposits build up silently and cause power loss, pre-ignition, and hot spots that stress the engine. This habit of using good fuel and cleaning the system regularly is rare in the US, but it's a huge factor in why Japanese bikes keep their power and reliability long. Number 9. Limiting performance mods. One of Japan's most surprising motorcycle longevity secrets is this. Don't chase big power if you want your bike to live a long life. Japanese engineers design motorcycles as finely balanced systems. Engine, cooling, fueling, drivetrain, and chassis are all tuned to work together within safe limits. When you install high-flow exhausts, aggressive fuel tuners, or big-bore kits without upgrading everything else, you push the engine beyond its engineered tolerance. That means extra heat, higher cylinder pressures, and more wear on internal parts. In Japan, this idea is reinforced by the strict Shaken inspection system, where heavily modified bikes often fail certification. Because of this, Japanese riders tend to avoid major power-boosting mods and instead focus on quality accessories or handling upgrades that don't overstress the motor. The logic is simple. Every extra horsepower brings extra stress, and a mostly stock, well-tuned engine almost always outlasts a modified one. The true Japanese secret is clear. If your goal is more miles, resist the temptation to chase raw power and keep your engine close to stock. Number 10. Keep the spark system perfect. A weak ignition system silently shortens an engine's life, and it's something many riders overlook. In Japan, mechanics are obsessive about maintaining strong spark health because they know poor ignition leads to long-term damage. They inspect spark plugs every few thousand miles, looking for clean tan electrodes, a sign of ideal combustion. Any black soot indicates rich running, while white blistering shows overheating or lean conditions. Plugs are typically replaced every 8,000 to 12,000 miles to ensure consistent spark. Alongside this, Japanese mechanics keep ignition coils, plug wires, and battery connections in top condition so the system always delivers full voltage. This prevents misfires, carbon buildup, and excess heat that slowly erode the engine. In the United States, many riders ignore spark plugs until the bike starts misfiring. By then, cylinder wear has often begun. Weak spark means unburnt fuel washes down cylinder walls, thinning the oil and lowering compression. Keeping your ignition system strong preserves clean combustion and protects your engine for the long haul. Number 11. The shaken mindset, full inspections. In Japan, any motorcycle over 250 cubic centimeters must pass a brutal inspection called shaken every 2 years. If anything is worn, leaking, or out of spec, the bike fails. That pressure has shaped Japanese riding culture. Even without legal inspections, riders there self-inspect like clockwork brakes, tires, chain, bearings, suspension, lights, fluids, every few months. They treat small leaks or noises as emergencies, not things to watch. This mindset is the final secret. Catching problems early before they fail catastrophically is why so many Japanese bikes stay flawless past 100,000 miles. This RPM mistake is damaging your motorcycle. Stop this, please. Mistake number 7. Revving a cold engine. One of the most damaging things you can do is start your bike cold and immediately rev it high. When a motorcycle engine is cold, the oil is thick and sluggish, and it hasn't yet circulated to the crankshaft, cam lobes, piston skirts, and bearings. Metal parts are also cold and shrunken slightly from thermal contraction, meaning there's extra clearance between them. Hitting high RPM at this stage slams dry, cold parts together under enormous pressure. That friction scrapes off microscopic layers of metal, which build up over time into serious wear. Worse, revving a cold engine causes thermal shock. Components like pistons heat up and expand faster than the cylinder walls, which can scuff the piston sides or warp rings. In this vulnerable cold state, the oil film is thin and the clearances are uneven, making the engine extremely sensitive to abuse. This is why seasoned mechanics emphasize letting oil circulate first. The fix is simple. Start the bike, let it idle gently for about a minute, then ride off smoothly while keeping RPMs low. Don't sit and idle for 10 minutes, but also don't twist the throttle hard until the engine is warm. On cold mornings, wait until your temperature gauge climbs before exploring the upper power band. This one habit alone can dramatically extend the life of your engine. Number 6. Over-revving or riding on the rev limiter. At the other end of the spectrum, many riders habitually spin their engines to redline, thinking it shows confidence or uses all the power. While short bursts at redline are fine, living there is extremely destructive. The redline marks the engine's maximum safe RPM, and every extra rotation at that level is beating your rods, bearings, and valves at maximum velocity. Oil struggles to cling to fast-spinning parts and gets flung off bearings, while valve springs start losing control of the valves. This is where valve float happens. The valves fail to close in time, striking pistons and bending or snapping. Many catastrophic engine failures begin as chronic over-revving abuse. Even if nothing breaks immediately, constant redline riding accelerates fatigue, cracks in connecting rods and bearings. Friction heat skyrockets, oil thins out, and wear speeds up dramatically. The smart move is to use the upper rev range sparingly. Shift before the limiter, ideally when power starts tapering off. Stay mostly in the mid-range on most street bikes. That's about 4,000 to 7,000 RPM, where oil flow is strong and stress is lower. Save the redline hits for quick overtakes or track days, not every commute. A good rule: redline is a ceiling, not a cruising zone. Treat it that way and your engine will thank you with years of extra life. Number 5. Lugging the engine. If over-revving is bad, then riding at super low RPM must be safer, right? Actually, no lugging is arguably even worse. Lugging happens when you're in too high a gear at too low an RPM, and you open the throttle hard. The engine chugs, vibrates, and struggles to pull the load because it's firing very few power strokes per second, and each one must do a massive amount of work. This spikes combustion pressure and temperature. Those spikes hammer the pistons, rings, bearings, and connecting rods. It also triggers detonation. The air-fuel mix ignites unevenly, sending shockwaves through the cylinder that can crack the piston ring or pound out bearings. Many riders lug without realizing it, especially on big cruisers or touring bikes. They try to be gentle and keep revs low, thinking it saves fuel or reduces wear. In reality, it does the opposite. The correct fix is to downshift. If the bike is sluggish or makes a dull metallic knocking when you twist the throttle, that's lugging shift down and raise RPM back into the power band. usually above about 3,000 RPM on most bikes. Cruising in a slightly lower gear keeps the oil pump spinning faster and spreads the load over more combustion events, reducing stress. Don't baby the engine in too tall a gear, keep it spinning freely rather than straining. It will actually run cooler and last far longer. Most riders overpay or miss hidden issues when buying a motorcycle. Our Pro Edition Survival Blueprint shows you how to inspect like a mechanic, avoid costly breakdowns, and negotiate so you never pay more than market value. Link is in the pinned comment. Number 4. Shifting at the wrong RPM. Closely related to lugging and over-revving is simply shifting at the wrong time. Many riders constantly ride in the wrong gear, forcing their engines into unhealthy RPM ranges. Shifting too early drops the RPM so low the engine struggles, while shifting too late keeps it screaming near redline unnecessarily. These habits pound on the crank, clutch, and transmission. Early upshifts at very low RPM also starve the bearings of oil pressure, while late upshifts hammer the drivetrain with high torque spikes. The fix is to learn your bike's sweet spot and keep it there. As a general rule, upshift when the engine is near the top of its power band, but well before the limiter, and downshift whenever it begins to bog. Always match revs. When downshifting, give a quick, controlled throttle blip so the lower gear's engine speed matches the road speed. This prevents the rear tire from hopping or the engine from overspeeding. Smooth, well-timed shifts keep the engine spinning happily in its mid-range, where wear is lowest and oil pressure is strongest. Instead of treating gears like rungs to climb once and forget, use them dynamically to keep the engine where it wants to be. It'll reward you with smoother power delivery and dramatically less wear. Number 3. Abrupt throttle changes. RPM damage isn't just about how high or low you go, it's also about how suddenly you get there. Snapping the throttle open from idle or slamming it shut at high RPM creates violent torquey spikes that shock the crank, clutch, gearbox, and chain. These shock loads reverberate through the whole engine, fatiguing parts faster than steady stress would. Many riders do this without thinking of chopping the throttle in panic, or yanking it open to impress friends, but every sudden RPM spike is a mechanical punch. Instead, roll on and off the throttle smoothly. Build power progressively, even if it's quick. If you downshift, blip the throttle gently and precisely to match revs, not with a wild snap. Also, avoid revving the bike high and neutral just for noise. It heats the engine with no load and flings oil away from bearings. Smooth inputs matter because engines are designed for controlled RPM ramps, not shock loads. Over thousands of cycles, avoiding those spikes massively reduces internal stress. Throttle discipline isn't just about controlling its engine preservation. Number 2. Living at the extreme ends of the talk. Some riders cruise everywhere at 2,000 RPM in top gear, thinking it's easier on the engine. Others spend every ride near the red line, convinced it's keeping it clean. Both are wrong. Constant extremes are a silent engine killer. Running very low RPM all the time means the oil pump spins slowly. Oil pressure can sag, and vibration increases. It also promotes carbon buildup because combustion is cooler and less complete. Running very high RPM constantly does the opposite. Friction, heat, and stress go through the roof. Oil thins out, fuel washes down cylinder walls, and bearings fatigue far faster. Engines last longest in their mid-range RPM, about 60 to 75% of redline on most bikes. That's where the oil system works best. Parts are fully lubricated, and each combustion stroke carries less stress. Cruise in that zone most of the time, and occasionally vary your RPM to sweep carbon away and keep rings from sticking. Don't lock it at one extreme. Balance is the key to a long life. Number 1. Ignoring engine feedback. The final and perhaps most subtle mistake is simply not listening to what the engine is telling you. Every sound, surge, ping, or stumble is a clue, and most riders ignore them. If your engine chugs, pings, or vibrates when you give throttle, it's probably lugging or knocking. If the torque suddenly spikes or drops, or if temperature climbs under load, it's under stress. Pushing through these signs does long-term damage quietly. Good riders constantly adjust based on feedback. If the bike knocks or pings, downshift or ease off. If it's screaming with little pull, upshift. If idle creeps up or the bike stumbles at a certain RPM, check your throttle cables or fueling. Even subtle changes in exhaust note can signal mixture or spark issues that affect engine safety. Treat your tachometer like a vital sign monitor if it acts weird. Fix it now, not later. Ignoring your engine's feedback is like ignoring chest pain during a run. It might not kill it today, but it will eventually. Listen, adjust, and your engine will return the favor with decades of reliable service. 9 U-turn mistakes. Every new rider makes, fix them now. Number 1. Not looking where you want to go. One of the most common and dangerous mistakes beginners make in U-turns is fixating on the curb, an obstacle, or even their own front wheel. This target fixation pulls the bike exactly where you don't want it to go. Motorcycles naturally follow your line of sight. As countless instructors remind students, you go where you look. When you stare down at the pavement or at something you fear hitting, your hands unconsciously steer toward it. The fix is deceptively simple but powerful. Turn your head and eyes fully to where you want to end up, not where you are now. Look through the turn, not at the yellow line, parked cars, or oncoming lane. In practice, your chin should point toward the U-turn exit as soon as you enter. Keeping your eyes up and scanning ahead locks in a smooth arc, steadies your balance, and dramatically improves your turning control and confidence. Number 2. Ignoring the friction zone. A big trap is trying to do a U-turn in neutral or a gear that isn't giving you control. If you dump the clutch or go too slow in a high gear, the bike will stall or lurch. New riders must use the friction zone of the clutch to hold just enough drive power for low-speed control. In other words, slip the clutch so some power is going to the rear wheel instead of coasting in neutral. Experienced riders advise, slipping the clutch and using the rear brake to reduce your speed to a walking pace is key. The idea is to balance forward momentum against your rear brake so the bike moves steadily at less than 5 miles per hour without stalling. In summary, don't kill power. Keep the engine engaged in the friction zone and adjust throttle and clutch so the bike keeps moving under power through the turn. Number 3. Using the front brake. At walking speeds, grabbing the front brake is one of the quickest ways to drop a motorcycle. When you apply the front brake while leaned over in a tight U-turn, the front suspension dives, the steering geometry abruptly changes, and the bike can tip before you react. This panic grab is common among new riders, especially when they feel the bike drifting wide. Instead, follow the approach taught by the Motorcycle Safety Foundation. During low-speed U-turns, rely solely on the rear brake for control. Keep your right foot lightly dragging the rear brake to create a stabilizing force on the rear wheel. This drag loads the rear suspension, lowers the bike's center of gravity, and keeps the chassis settled. Many instructors even tell trainees to take their fingers off the front lever entirely during tight turns. Combine steady throttle with gentle rear brake, never the front, and the bike will stay balanced and predictable. Number 4. Taking a foot off the peg. New riders often instinctively put a foot down when making a slow turn. This kills balance. Likewise, leaning your body out of the bike instead of leaning the bike under you throws off stability. The correct fix: keep both feet on the pegs at all times and lean the bike, not your body. Experts stress keeping your mass centralized. Your peripheral weight should stay close in, on the pegs. In fact, in a tight turn, press down on the outside foot peg and counterweight by keeping your body upright as the bike leans. This lets the bike lean under you while your body stays straight, which is exactly what training courses teach. Think of it like balancing a broomstick. Keep your weight over the bike's contact patch by using your feet. Don't try to catch the bike with your leg. If you ever see an instructor beside you, they'll remind you. Feet on pegs, shoulders up. Most riders overpay or miss hidden issues when buying a motorcycle. Our Pro Edition Survival Blueprint shows you how to inspect like a mechanic, avoid costly breakdowns, and negotiate so you never pay more than market value. Link is in the pinned comment. Number 5. Poor body posture. Even with feet on the pegs, many riders ride tensed up, shoulders hunched, arms stiff, gripping the bars for dear life. This actually reduces control. The fix is to adopt MSF-style posture. Sit upright, elbows slightly bent, and relax your grip and shoulders. Don't lean your whole body into the turn. Let the bike do the leaning. Keep your eyes up and support yourself by gripping the tank lightly with your knees for stability. As one Harley riding guide explains, a lot of riders force the bike with tense arms or lean their body too much, instead of letting the bike lean under them. The key is smooth, small shifts. Stay centered on the seat, press the outside peg, and stay loose. A loose upper body allows quick steering corrections. Stiff arms will only amplify a wobble. Remember, your body is just along for the ride. Keep it upright and relaxed. Number 6. Jerky throttle control. Riders often slam or chop the throttle when trying to power out of a U-turn. This is a quick way to lose traction or kick the bike upright. Instead, apply the throttle smoothly and progressively. Don't abruptly close or open the throttle. In fact, cutting the throttle too fast will make the bike stand up mid-turn, and suddenly giving it too much gas can spin the rear tire or throw you wide. Training advice is to roll on slowly, for example. Roll off just enough before the turn and then hold a steady throttle through the corner. This steady drive not only maintains balance but gives you the momentum to finish the turn. In short, avoid ham-fisted throttle blips. Roll the throttle in and out gently so the bike doesn't lurch. If you feel the bike backing up, ease off the rear brake or add a little clutch to gain drive, but always smoothly, not in sudden bursts. Number 7. Poor setup. Your U-turn starts before you even swing the bars. Many newbies pick a bad spot to begin. For example, for a right U-turn from a stop, beginners often stay far right and then have to turn hard immediately. Instead, position yourself to make room. One riding pro advises that when turning right, you should stop in the far left part of your lane, angled toward the right. This accomplishes two things. You'll already be facing the right direction, and you have plenty of room to turn the bars gradually. Before moving, double-check traffic, then turn your head and eyes fully into the lane where you want to go. In other scenarios, use the same idea. Give yourself room by starting from the opposite side of your lane. The takeaway: set up early. Don't wait until the last second to swing your bars. Use lane positioning as part of the turn setup, and make sure you've practiced starting from different angles. Number 8. Not practicing or lacking confidence. The biggest U-turn mistake isn't technique, it's neglect. Many riders find U-turns intimidating, so they avoid practicing them altogether, which only reinforces the fear. Don't fall into that trap. Set aside time to deliberately practice in safe, low-traffic areas like empty parking lots or quiet side streets. Repetition builds the muscle memory you need to coordinate clutch, throttle, rear brake, and body position instinctively. As slow-speed training programs like those from Motorcycle Safety Foundation emphasize, structured practice builds confidence and reduces the chance of tip-overs. If you struggle more turning one direction, focus on that side until it feels as natural as your strong side. Use proven MSF-style drills, light circles, figure eights, and U-turn boxes to push your limits gradually. The truth is simple. Practice removes fear. Lack of practice breeds panic. Consistent training transforms U-turns from something you dread into something automatic, controlled, and effortless every time. Number 9. Forgetting the terrain. Riding on gravel or dirt demands the same core U-turn skills as pavement, but the technique must adapt to the looser surface. Many riders make the mistake of panicking, chopping the throttle, or grabbing the brakes, which unloads the suspension and causes the bike to slide out. Instead, keep a light, steady throttle to maintain traction. The engine's pull helps stabilize the chassis. Use the rear brake gently if needed, and avoid abrupt front brake inputs. Standing slightly on the pegs can also help. This lowers your center of gravity and lets your legs act like tripod supports to balance the bike. Shift your weight slightly forward to give the front tire more bite. The turn will naturally be wider and slower than on asphalt, which is fine. Keep your eyes looking through the turn, lean the bike, not your body, inward, and practice on grass, gravel, or packed dirt to build instinctive control. 9 motorcycle jacket mistakes. Killing your ride. Which one is yours? Number 1. Skipping your jacket entirely. The biggest and most dangerous mistake is simply not wearing a jacket at all. Plenty of riders, especially in warm US states, still ride in t-shirts, hoodies, or flannel shirts thinking short rides don't need protection. The reality? Even at just 30 miles per hour, sliding across asphalt can remove skin down to the bone in under 2 seconds. A motorcycle jacket is designed specifically to resist abrasion and absorb impact energy. Modern jackets use specialized textiles like cordura or thick leather that can withstand hundreds of feet of sliding without tearing apart. Without this barrier, your skin becomes the barrier, and it loses every time. Emergency room studies consistently show that riders without jackets suffer deeper, longer-lasting injuries, even in minor spills. So, no matter how short the ride or how hot the day, treat your jacket like your helmet. You wear it every single time. It's not optional, it's life-saving equipment. Number 2. Riding with an unzipped or loose jacket. Even riders who wear jackets often make the fatal error of leaving them half-zipped or flapping open. It might feel cooler or more comfortable, but it completely defeats the jacket's purpose. In a crash, a loose jacket will twist, ride up, or even rip off your body entirely, leaving your arms, shoulders, and chest unprotected. Jackets are engineered to stay snug during high-speed slides, but only if they're fully secured. This means zipping up the main front closure, fastening cuffs, and cinching waist or arm adjusters. US riding instructors stress this point. Your jacket should stay firmly in place when you tug on it, with no chance of sliding off. Make it a habit before every ride: zip everything, snug the straps, and tuck in loose flaps. Think of it like buckling your seatbelt. Once you're moving, it's too late to fix it. Number 3. Choosing style over safety. A huge number of riders pick jackets based purely on how they look, ignoring what's inside them. That sleek cafe racer leather might look great at bike night, but if it lacks CE-rated armor or abrasion panels, it's basically just streetwear. This is one of the most dangerous misconceptions. True motorcycle jackets are engineered to take impacts, and sliding forces fashion jackets are not. Riding jackets include reinforced stitching, impact-absorbing armor in the shoulders, elbows, and spine, and high-denier materials that don't shred on contact with asphalt. If you go down at speed wearing a thin leather fashion jacket, it can tear apart in less than a second. Always check the safety certifications like CE Level 1 or 2 armor and material specs before buying. The goal isn't just to look good, it's to walk away. Stylish jackets are fine, but only if they're purpose-built to protect you. Number 4. Wearing the wrong jacket for the weather. Another widespread mistake is assuming one jacket works for all conditions. US weather can swing from blistering desert heat to icy mountain winds, and using the wrong gear for the climate can be dangerous. Wearing a heavy, non-vented leather jacket on a 100-degree Fahrenheit summer day can cause dehydration, heat stroke, and fatigue. On the flip side, riding in a thin mesh jacket during cold winter winds can lead to numb hands and slow reaction times. Both extremes compromise your focus and safety. Smart riders either keep multiple seasonal jackets or invest in a modular jacket with removable liners and zippered vents. Use mesh or vented textile jackets for summer, and insulated waterproof ones with thermal liners for cold or wet conditions. Comfort equals focus, and focus equals safety. Don't let the wrong jacket for the weather quietly sabotage your riding awareness. Most riders overpay or miss hidden issues when buying a motorcycle. Our Pro Edition Survival Blueprint shows you how to inspect like a mechanic, avoid costly breakdowns, and negotiate so you never pay more than market value. Link is in the pinned comment. Number 5. Wearing an ill-fitting jacket. Fit is one of the most underestimated safety factors. Riders often choose jackets that are too big or too small, and both choices can ruin their protection. A loose jacket can twist around your body in a slide, allowing armor to shift off your elbows and shoulders, leaving bone exposed. A too tight jacket can restrict movement, limit steering input, and even rip open on impact because the seams are overstressed. The correct fit is snug yet flexible. The armor should stay centered on your joints as you move. The sleeves should reach your wrists in riding position, and you should be able to fully turn the bars without the jacket pulling across your back or shoulders. Think of it like a race car harness, tight enough to stay put, but not so tight that it hampers your control. Safety depends on a secure fit. Number 6. Skipping the armor. Many riders assume the outer fabric alone will save them, but that's only half true. Abrasion resistance keeps your skin off the pavement, but impact protection requires armor, and riding without it is like wearing a helmet shell with no foam line. And the best jacket becomes useless if you let it rot. Sweat, rain, UV light, and road grime slowly degrade both leather and textile materials. Leather stiffens and cracks if it's never conditioned. Textile fabrics lose their abrasion resistance when they're caked with dirt or mildew. Zippers and Velcro can fail if clogged with grit. Neglecting your jacket doesn't just make it look bad, it makes it fail when you need it most. Every few months, give it a full cleaning. Use mild soap and water on textile and dedicated cleaners and conditioners on leather. Rinse away salt and bugs, dry it fully, and store it on a wide hanger in a cool, shaded place. Avoid tossing it in a damp garage corner where mold and UV light will destroy it. A little care extends the life of your jacket and ensures it's battle-ready when you need it. Number 8. Failing to replace old armor or gear. Motorcycle jackets don't last forever. Many riders hang on to the same gear for a decade or more, not realizing the internal armor and stitching break down over time. The foam or polymer in protective pads gets brittle from age, heat, and UV exposure, losing its ability to absorb impacts. Leather dries and becomes prone to tearing. Textiles can fray or delaminate under stress. Industry experts recommend replacing armor every 3 to 5 years, even if it's never been in a crash. If your pads feel hard, cracked, or permanently compressed, they won't protect you. Likewise, if your jacket's outer shell shows deep wear, loose seams, or crusty leather, it's time to retire it. Think of your jacket like a helmet. Invisible aging damage can render it ineffective. Upgrading old gear ensures you aren't riding with a false sense of security. Number 9. Ignoring visibility features. The last big mistake is treating your jacket as just protection from crashes, and forgetting it can prevent crashes in the first place. Most collisions happen because drivers simply don't see the motorcycle. Wearing a dark, non-reflective jacket makes you nearly invisible in low light or rain. Visibility is protection. Jackets with bright colors, high-vis panels, or reflective strips can be seen from hundreds of feet away, giving distracted drivers precious extra seconds to notice you. If your jacket is dark, add retro-reflective tape to the back, arms, or helmet. You can also wear a high-vis vest over your jacket at night or in heavy traffic. This small change massively increases your conspicuity, which might be the difference between being noticed or being hit. Staying visible is just as important as staying armored, because avoidance is always better than impact. Each of these mistakes silently reduces your safety, and most riders don't even realize they're doing them. But the fix is simple. Wear a real riding jacket, wear it right, and take care of it. Correcting even one of these errors could be the reason you walk away from a crash. Before your next ride, check your jacket. Is it zipped, snug, armored, maintained, and visible? Do this once every 2 weeks, and your engine will last forever. Number 7. Maintain the cooling system. Heat is your engine's #1 enemy, and most riders only think about it when they see the temp light flash. By then, the damage is already underway. Engines generate enormous heat, and if the cooling system isn't in top shape, that heat can spike fast enough to warp cylinder heads, crack gaskets, and fry bearings. Every 2 weeks, Check your coolant level and look over the radiator hoses and clamps. Even a slow leak can allow air pockets that cause hot spots. In the US, where many bikes see blazing summer traffic and frigid winter mornings, it's also critical to run the correct antifreeze mix. Old or diluted coolant loses its corrosion inhibitors and becomes acidic, quietly eating away at your water pump and radiator core. A smart long-life habit is to flush the cooling system every 2 years. Also clean your radiator fins with compressed air or a soft brush to keep airflow strong. Clogged fins mean higher temps. Riders who do this religiously rarely see blown head gaskets or seized water pumps. Riders who don't often discover the damage when it's far too late. Number 6. Check and adjust valve clearances. Valves are the unsung gatekeepers of your motorcycle's engine, controlling the precise flow of air and fuel in and exhaust gases out. When their clearances drift out of specification, both performance and durability begin to decline rapidly. Yet this is one of the most overlooked maintenance tasks among US riders. Most modern motorcycles require valve clearance inspections every 6,000 to 15,000 miles, depending on the model and riding conditions. Over time, heat cycles and wear cause valve clearances to tighten. When the gap becomes too small, valves may not fully close, allowing scorching combustion gases to leak past the valve seats. This superheats the valve edges and seats, eventually warping or burning them. In extreme cases, prolonged neglect can snap a valve head or damage the camshaft, leading to catastrophic engine failure. Mechanics caution that by the time you hear tapping noises, misfires, or feel a loss of power, damage is already underway. The solution is straightforward. Follow the valve inspection schedule listed in your owner's manual. Even if you don't adjust them yourself, have a qualified shop check and set them. Properly adjusted valves keep engines cooler, breathing freely, and dramatically extend their lifespan. Number 5. Use high-quality fuel and additives. Fuel quality directly impacts how long your engine stays clean inside. In the US, most gas is E10 ethanol blend, which attracts moisture from the air. Left sitting, ethanol-laced gas can phase separate, creating water pockets that corrode fuel injectors, gum up carburetors, and even stick intake valves. Top-tier fuel from major brands includes detergent packages that clean valves and injectors, while you ride cheap fuel often doesn't. Every few tanks, it's smart to run a fuel system cleaner or injector additive. These dissolve carbon and varnish buildup before they harden, which keeps combustion chambers and valves clean. This isn't just about performance. Carbon buildup traps heat, which accelerates wear on pistons and rings. Also, keep your tank topped off if the bike will sit for more than a week. A full tank minimizes airspace, which slows moisture condensation inside the tank. If you know the bike will sit longer than 2 weeks, add a fuel stabilizer to prevent the ethanol from going stale. These small habits prevent the kind of sticky, gunky fuel issues that ruin injectors and burn valve issues that kill many engines long before their time. Number 4. Warm up fully and run at load. Here's a habit even many experienced riders get wrong. Idling a cold engine briefly, then riding it gently until it's warm, and occasionally running it hard enough to clean itself out. Cold oil is thick and slow to circulate. Revving hard on a cold start grinds dry metal surfaces together before oil pressure builds. On the flip side, riding only short, gentle trips and never letting the engine get hot enough creates another issue. Fuel and moisture build up in the oil and combustion chambers, forming sludge and carbon. The trick is balance. Start the bike and let it idle for about 60 seconds, just enough to get oil moving. Then ride off gently, keeping revs low until the temperature gauge hits normal. Once fully warm, periodically run the bike through its mid to high RPM range, around 4,000 to 6,000 RPM, for many street bikes for several minutes. This burns off condensation, evaporates excess fuel, and keeps the piston rings sealing well. Engines that only ever see cold starts and easy commutes age fast. Engines that warm up fully and get exercised regularly stay clean and last decades. Most riders overpay or miss hidden issues when buying a motorcycle. Our Pro Edition Survival Blueprint shows you how to inspect like a mechanic, avoid costly breakdowns, and negotiate so you never pay more than market value. Link is in the pinned comment. Number 3. Avoid lugging the engine. Lugging, forcing your engine to accelerate in a high gear at low RPM might feel gentle, but it's actually brutal. It's like trying to pedal a bicycle uphill in top gear. The engine has to deliver massive force on every stroke. This skyrockets cylinder pressure and combustion temperature, which causes harsh detonation. Detonation pounds the piston crown and can break the thin metal ringlands that hold the piston rings in place. Once that happens, the piston sheds metal shards into the cylinder, scarring the walls and often destroying the entire engine. The fix is easy. Shift down before rolling on the throttle hard. Keep the engine in its mid-range power band, not at the bottom of the tach. If your bike is chugging, pinging, or sounding like it's about to stall, you're lugging it. Downshift and let it spin freely. Riders who stay out of the lug zone see drastically lower wear on bearings, rods, and pistons, and their bikes feel far smoother too. Number 2. Use the right oil and change it often. Oil is the lifeblood of your motorcycle's engine, and yet it's one of the most abused systems. Many riders stretch oil change intervals way too far or use automotive oil not designed for motorcycles. Motorcycle engines run higher RPM and share oil between the engine, transmission, and often the clutch, which automotive oils aren't designed for. Always use an oil that meets the JASO MA specification, which ensures it's safe for wet clutches and can handle shear forces from the gearbox. And change it often. Many high-mileage riders change oil every 2,000 to 3,000 miles, well before it breaks down. Dirty oil loses viscosity and can't hold metal particles in suspension, letting them grind away at bearings and cam lobes. Low oil is even worse. Running below the recommended level starves the top end first, scuffing cams and lifters. Get in the habit of checking your oil level every couple of rides, topping up if needed, and replacing the filter each time you change it. Fresh, correct oil is the cheapest possible insurance for long engine life. Number 1. Follow the service schedule and get professional tune-ups. The final secret isn't glamorous, but it's the single most important one if you want your motorcycle engine to truly last. Even if you're comfortable doing basic tasks like oil changes or chain cleaning yourself, you still need to have your bike professionally inspected and serviced at the manufacturer's recommended intervals. These full services go far beyond routine oil swaps. They include throttle body synchronization, cam chain tension checks, clutch adjustments, coolant flushes, valve clearances, spark plug replacement, air filter service, chain alignment, electrical system diagnostics, and more. Each of these items can quietly drift out of spec over time without obvious symptoms. This is how engines fail, not suddenly, but in stages. A small coolant weep, a slightly loose engine mount, or a worn cam chain guide may seem harmless now, but can trigger catastrophic failure later. Professional tune-ups break that chain of failure before it begins. Think of them like preventive medicine, stopping the problem before it grows. At minimum, book a complete inspection every 12 months or 12,000 miles, whichever comes first. Riders who stick to this religiously are the ones who routinely hit six-figure odometer readings without ever needing an engine rebuild. These 7 habits – maintaining your cooling system, keeping valve clearances perfect, using clean fuel, warming up properly, avoiding lugging, changing oil often, and staying on schedule with tune-ups are the true foundations of engine longevity. Most riders focus only on riding technique, while quietly skipping the mechanical care that actually keeps the engine alive. Do these steps consistently, even just checking each one every 2 weeks, and you can realistically see your motorcycle reach 100,000 miles or more without internal engine work. It's not luck, it's maintenance discipline. And now you've got the playbook. 11 secrets every Harley rider should know. Number 1, accessory mode. Most riders fire up their Harley even when they just want to check the dash or adjust the infotainment. But there's a hidden trick, accessory mode. With this feature, you can light up your gauges, access the infotainment, and even pair your phone all while the engine stays silent and the headlamp off. On touring models with keyless ignition, just hold the trip switch with the fob nearby. Gauges flicker alive, screens unlock, and you can handle settings without burning fuel or choking the garage with fumes. Once you're done, hold the trip switch again to power down. The system even shuts itself off after about 2 hours to protect the battery. Most riders never touch this because they don't read the manual, but once you know, it's one of those, "Why didn't I use this before?" moments. Number 2, transport mode. If you've ever trailered your Harley, you know the nightmare. Hit a bump, and suddenly the alarm is blaring like you're stealing your own bike. That's where transport mode comes in. This hidden setting lets you arm the bike's security while disabling the motion sensor, so hauling your hog doesn't turn into a noise complaint. To activate, turn the ignition to run with the fob, switch it off, and within 5 seconds, hold the left turn signal and flash to pass button together. Done right. The console confirms transport mode is live. Now you can bounce it around on a trailer with no screaming alarm, but the theft protection stays armed. Dealers rarely show buyers this trick, so most riders learn the hard way. Next time you're loading up for a rally, spare your neighbors in your ears, use transport mode. Number 3. Emergency start with a PIN code. Lose your fob or find it dead. Many Harley riders panic thinking they're stranded. But every Harley with a security system hides a failsafe. The PIN override. It's a personal 5-digit code that unlocks the bike without the fob. With the ignition on, tap the left signal to start, then use the signals to cycle numbers and confirm each digit. Get all 5 right, and the system disarms, letting you ride off like nothing happened. The default PIN often sits untouched, set by the dealer, which is why most riders don't even know theirs. That's dangerous. If you don't set and practice your PIN, you're one dead battery away from a tow bill. Less than 10% of riders ever use this, yet it's the single most practical Harley secret out there. Number 4. Hidden diagnostic mode. Check engine light comes on? Most riders head straight to the dealer. But your Harley has its own diagnostic mode baked right in. Hold the trip reset as you turn the ignition on, and suddenly you've unlocked a menu hidden in the dash. Scroll through modules, view error codes, even check stats like battery voltage. It's like running a mini health scan without plugging in an external reader. Spot a stored fault code? You can call the dealer already knowing the issue, saving time and sounding like a pro. Riders who know this often catch problems early, like weak batteries or bad sensors, before they turn into roadside breakdowns. Yet, because no one tells you about it, most riders never realize their Harley is practically shouting its problems at them if you know how to listen. Number 5. EITMS. Harleys are known for running hot, especially the big V-twins caught in summer traffic. But many newer touring models come with a hidden helper, the engine idle temperature management system. When the engine reaches high idle temps, EITMS cuts fuel to the rear cylinder, turning it into a giant air pump that helps cool the motor. The sound changes, heat drops, and your legs instantly feel the difference. The catch? Most bikes leave the factory with EITMS switched off. To activate it, simply roll the throttle forward past idle and hold the cruise light flashes green for on, red for off. It's a simple toggle, but few riders ever learn it because dealers rarely mention it. Yet this little secret can mean the difference between roasting at a stoplight and cruising in comfort. Number 6. Fine-tune your suspension. Plenty of Harley riders complain about rough rides or bottoming out, but the culprit is usually ignored. Rear suspension preload. From the factory, most Harleys are set up for an average solo rider. Add a passenger or luggage, and the shocks sag too much. Ride solo with too much preload and the bike feels harsh. The fix is simple. Adjust the preload. Your toolkit includes a spanner wrench, and many touring models even have hand-adjustable shocks. Add preload for heavy loads, soften it for solo cruising, and suddenly the ride transforms plush yet stable. Handling sharpens, comfort improves, and you stop punishing your suspension. Yet most owners never touch the setting, thinking it's fixed. In reality, dialing in preload is the difference between floating down the road or bouncing like a wagon, making it one of Harley's most overlooked secrets. Number 7. Built-in ports for heated gear. A lot of Harley riders waste cash wiring up their battery for heated jackets or gloves. But here's the secret. You might not need to. Many Harley models already come with accessory connectors tucked under the seat, factory fused and ready for heated gear. No extra harnesses, no messy battery hookups. Just plug in, route the controller, and ride warm through the winter. The problem is, most riders never check, and they end up paying for aftermarket kits they didn't need. Harley quietly added this because they know their riders push through cold seasons. It's one of those features hidden in plain sight. If you've never pulled the seat and looked, do it, you might find a capped connector already waiting. That little port could be your ticket to warm hands in a longer riding season without spending a dime. Number 8. Hill Hold Control. Few things spike your adrenaline like holding a 900-pound Harley on a hill while juggling clutch and throttle. That's where Hill Hold Control comes in. On many modern touring and big twin models, squeeze the brake firmly at a stop and the system locks the brakes for you until you roll forward. No rollback, no panic, just smooth, confident takeoffs, even with a passenger and loaded bags. The kicker? Most riders don't even know their Harley has it, or they've stumbled into it once without realizing how they triggered it. It's not a parking brake, and it only holds for a short window. But for uphill lights or stop and go on steep streets, it's a genuine game changer. Another quiet innovation Harley baked in, waiting for riders to actually use it, making heavy bikes feel lighter in the moments that count. Number 9. The potato sound. Ask anyone what makes a Harley unmistakable and they'll blurt out, the sound. But here's the twist. It's not just about loud pipes. That iconic potato rhythm comes straight from Harley's 45-degree V-twin engine with a single crank pin. Because both pistons share the same pin, the firing order is uneven. 2 quick bangs, then a pause. That syncopated beat is what makes a Harley rumble so different from any other bike. Other V-twins, like Ducati's 90-degree or Japanese metrics with offset cranks, can't copy it. The sound became so legendary that Harley actually tried to trademark it in the 90s. They lost the case, but the attempt shows just how central it is to the brand. So the next time someone asks why your Harley growls differently, you'll know it's not marketing hype, it's pure engineering DNA. Number 10. Why Harleys are called hogs. People think Harleys are called hogs because they're big, heavy bikes. Wrong. The name goes back to the 1920s when Harley's factory racing team, the legendary Wrecking Crew, dominated the track. Their good luck mascot? A piglet named Johnny. After every win, the riders paraded Johnny around on the gas tank during their victory lap. Fans loved it. Reporters loved it. Soon the press started calling them the Harley Hogs, and the nickname stuck. From there, the term spread to every Harley rider, and eventually the company embraced it officially. Harley's stock ticker is HOG, and their riders club became the HOG. So when you call your bike a hog today, you're not talking about weight, you're carrying on a tradition born from a piglet on a racetrack a century ago. Few riders know that, but now you do. Number 11. The Harley tax. Why does your brand new Harley sometimes feel choked? Because it is. Emissions and noise rules force Harley to ship bikes running lean and restricted. Riders quickly discover the so-called Harley tax. To unleash the bike, they drop money on Stage 1 upgrades, freer flowing exhaust, high-flow air cleaner, and a fuel remap. Suddenly, the bike runs cooler, makes 10 to 15 more horsepower, and finally sounds like the Harley they imagined. It's so common it's practically a rite of passage. New riders rarely hear about it until they wonder why their stock bike feels muted. Harley knows it, dealers know it, and now you know it. Whether you pay the tax or not, at least you won't be left wondering why your hog feels tame out of the crate. From hidden codes and secret modes to pig mascots and taxes, Harleys carry layers of secrets most riders never touch. Now you've got 11 of the best. Some make your rides easier, some make them safer, and some just connect you to a century of Harley culture. Either way, you're no longer in the dark. Ride safe, keep learning, and enjoy every mile. 11 motorcycle skills that have nothing to do with riding you have to learn. Number 1. Basic maintenance and pre-ride checks. Forget horsepower for a second. The first skill that decides whether you're a solid rider or tomorrow's roadside story is basic maintenance. Cars will tolerate neglect, motorcycles won't. A slack chain, worn tire, or low brake fluid can turn a ride into a breakdown in minutes. That's why veteran riders swear by the TCLOCS checklist: tires, controls, lights, oil, chassis, stands. Run through it before you even roll out. Keep your chain clean and lubed, torque bolts snug, and tires properly inflated. None of this is glamorous, but it's pure survival. Think of your bike like it's talking to you. Squeaks, leaks, or odd vibrations are whispers. Ignore them long enough, and your machine will scream, usually at the worst possible time, like on a highway miles from help. Number 2. Roadside emergency fixes. At some point, every rider gets stranded. The difference is whether you sit helpless on the shoulder or dig into a toolkit like you've done it 100 times. A compact tool roll is your best friend. Wrenches, pliers, Allen keys, duct tape, and zip ties cover most surprises. Add a tubeless tire plug kit and actually learn how to use it. A mini jump starter or the old-school bump start trick can save you when the battery quits. These aren't gimmicks. They turn a disaster into a quick roadside fix. And here's the truth. Nothing earns respect faster than fixing your own bike in the middle of nowhere, then rolling off like nothing happened. Every veteran rider knows preparedness is the difference between ending a ride and saving it. Number 3. Picking up a dropped bike. Drop your bike once, and you'll realize how heavy even a light motorcycle feels. It happens in parking lot tip-over, gravel driveway, or a slow-speed slip. The mistake most riders make? Trying to deadlift it like they're in a strongman competition. That's a quick way to pull a muscle or blow out your back. The smart technique is simple. Turn the engine off, put the bike in gear, and face away from it. Grab the handlebar and a sturdy point like the frame or seat, squat down, and walk it upright using your legs. This works on everything from a 300-pound Rebel to a 900-pound Road Glide. Practice once in your garage so when it happens in the wild, you'll lift with confidence instead of panic. Number 4. First aid and crash scene skills. Every rider dreads crashing, but most have no clue what to do if it happens. Step 1. Carry a compact first aid kit with bandages, gloves, disinfectant, and a trauma dressing. Step 2. Actually learn how to use it. At an accident scene, priorities are simple. Make the area safe, call emergency services, and don't move the injured unless there's no other option. If a rider's not breathing, there's even a safe way to remove a helmet before CPR, something every motorcyclist should know. A basic CPR and first aid course costs less than that aftermarket exhaust you've been eyeing, but could literally save a life. Trust me, being that rider who can keep someone alive until paramedics arrive, that's a skill nobody ever forgets. Number 5. Mastering your gear. Gear isn't fashion, it's survival. But here's the catch. It's not just owning gear, it's knowing how to use it. Helmets should hug your head snugly, not wobble like a bobblehead. Gloves? They should cover your wrists, not just look cool. Boots need real ankle protection, not sneaker vibes. Even the little stuff like keeping your visor clean or layering correctly in cold weather can decide whether your ride is safe or miserable. And remember the golden rule. A TGATT, all the gear, all the time. It's not a catchy slogan, it's the line between smart riders and crash statistics. Because the truth is, pavement doesn't care if your jacket matches your bike, it only cares if it can grind through it. Suit up right, and you'll walk away from things others don't. If you're loving this, drop a like, hit subscribe, and join riders leveling up everywhere. Number 6. Group ride etiquette. Riding solo is one thing. Riding in a group? Whole new game mode. Suddenly, discipline matters. The golden rule. Staggered formation, never side by side unless you like hospital bills. Hand signals aren't optional. They're the language that keeps the pack alive. If you're leading, set a smooth pace and signal hazards early. If you're sweeping, you're the safety net, nobody gets left behind. And for the love of chrome, don't be that rider blasting off to prove something. It's not MotoGP, and nobody's impressed when the group turns into chaos. Done right, group rides feel like a rolling orchestra, fluid, safe, and unforgettable. Done wrong, they're disorganized messes that end in arguments or ambulances. Master the etiquette, and you'll be the rider everyone actually wants in their lineup. Number 7. Trip planning and navigation. This is where rookies blow it. "I'll just wing it," they say right before running out of gas in the middle of nowhere. Trip planning is a skill, not paranoia. Know your bike's fuel range and respect it. Check the weather so you don't end up soaked, frozen, or cooked alive. Pick routes with bailout points because sometimes the scenic road is just code for no gas for 70 miles. Download offline maps and carry a power bank because GPS loves to die when you need it most. Experienced riders even plan around the sun. Nobody enjoys staring west into blinding sunset glare or schedule hydration stops before heat exhaustion kicks in. It's not obsessive, it's survival. A well-planned trip doesn't feel restrictive. It feels like freedom without the frustration. Number 8. Loading and transporting a motorcycle. Sometimes the ride isn't on the road, it's on a trailer. Dirt bikes to the track, Harleys to a rally, or rescuing your buddy's dead bike if you don't know how to load and strap. You're flirting with disaster. Rule 1. Use a proper ramp, not some sketchy plank. Rule 2. 4 straps. Minimum 2 up front, 2 out back. Compress the suspension, lock the wheel, and make sure those straps pull at opposing angles. Then stop after a few miles and recheck, because straps always loosen. And please don't buy bargain bin tie-downs. Watching your Harley cartwheel down the freeway is not the kind of viral you want. Master this once, and you'll save yourself and your friends thousands. Done right, your bike ride's rock solid. Done wrong? It's scrap metal. Number 9. Paperwork and legal skills. The least sexy part of riding, but also the one that saves you the most pain. Do you actually know your local helmet laws, lane splitting rules, or exhaust restrictions? Half of riders don't, and they find out the hard way. Tickets, impounds, or worse. Insurance matters too. Does your policy cover liability and your gear, or just the bare minimum? And here's a simple test. When a cop pulls you over, can you produce your license, registration, and insurance in under 10 seconds? Fumbling around like it's a scavenger hunt doesn't end well. Master the boring stuff: laws, paperwork, insurance, and your ride won't get cut short by red tape. Because nothing kills freedom faster than bureaucracy. Get it handled once, and you can focus on riding, not explaining yourself to a judge. Number 10. Cleaning and storage know-how. Anyone can ride a bike. Few know how to store one properly. Step 1. Keep it clean. Wash the grime off, lube the chain, oil the pivots, and wax the paint. Not just for looks, cleaning is how you catch small leaks, cracks, or loose bolts before they turn into disasters. Step 2. Storage. For winter or any long break, stabilize the fuel, hook up a trickle charger, and throw on a quality cover. Bonus points for lifting the tires or rolling the bike occasionally to avoid flat spots. Skip this stuff, and you'll return to a rusty, dead machine in spring. Do it right, and your bike fires up like it never missed a beat. A clean, well-stored motorcycle isn't vanity. It's free reliability insurance. Number 11. Mental game and attitude. Here's the secret skill nobody brags about. Your headspace. Riding is 80% mental. Anyone can twist a throttle, but staying calm in traffic, not letting anger dictate your wrist, and knowing when to call it a day, that's veteran-level stuff. Overconfidence kills more riders than worn tires ever did. The truth is, patience, humility, and constant learning are the real hidden skills behind decades of safe riding. It's not glamorous, but mastering your mindset is what keeps you sharp, aware, and alive. Crash videos are full of riders who thought they were invincible. The ones still riding after 30 years? They learned to check their ego at the garage door. Mindset doesn't make noise or horsepower, but it's the quiet power that keeps you riding season after season. Ride safer with these motorcycle balance secrets. Number 1. Look ahead. Your bike goes where you look. This saying is 100% true. New riders often make the mistake of staring down at the front wheel, or that pothole they're afraid of, and guess what? You tend to ride right toward whatever you fixate on. Instead, keep your eyes up, look far ahead through the turn or towards where you want to go. Not only will this guide your bike along the correct line, it also dramatically improves your balance. Why? When you look down or to the side too much, your head and body can wobble and throw off your stability. By keeping your gaze level and looking through the corner, the bike naturally follows and stays steadier. It's like magic, the stabilizing kind. So next time you're creeping through traffic or leaning into a curve, remember, eyes up, head level, and look where you want to be. You'll be amazed how much easier balancing becomes. Number 2, relax your grip. Are you strangling your handlebars for dear life? Many riders do this when nervous. It's called the death grip, and it actually makes your bike less stable. The secret is to loosen up. Hold the bars firmly enough to stay in control, but keep your arms relaxed, elbows slightly bent. A rigid white-knuckle grip transmits every tiny shake straight into the bike and can cause that scary wobble. Instead, grip the bike with your lower body. Squeeze the gas tank lightly with your knees and let your core support you. This takes weight off your arms so you can steer without fighting the bike. Remember, the motorcycle is designed to stay upright when moving, and don't sabotage it by over-inputting. As one training coach puts it, try to lock into the bike with your legs and feet and avoid a death grip on the bars. By relaxing your upper body, you actually gain more control. A looser grip also prevents fatigue and those numb, tingling hands on long rides. So shake out those arms, lighten your hold, and let the bike do its thing. You'll feel the stability improve instantly when you stop wrestling the handlebars. Number 3, engage your core for stability. Surprise! Great balance isn't all about arm strength or fancy footwork. It's about your core. Your core muscles are the foundation that keeps your body stable on the bike. If you rely only on your arms to hold on, you'll be tense and shaky. Instead, tighten your stomach muscles slightly and maintain good posture. Think of yourself as the center point balancing the bike to keep that center solid. Next time you ride, notice how you naturally tense your abs over bumps or turns. That's your core kicking in to help. You can consciously use it more by sitting up straight and imagining you're balancing from your middle. Engaging your core also frees up your hands for smoother steering. It's the same reason athletes and dancers focus on core strength. A stable middle means controlled, graceful movements. One added perk. Over time, riding with proper posture will even strengthen your core further, creating a virtuous cycle of stability. So remember, ride tall and tight in the torso. You don't need a six-pack to stay upright, but a little core engagement goes a long way to keeping you and the bike balanced as one. Number 4, master the rear brake. Ever see riders crawling along in traffic without duck-walking their feet? Their secret weapon is the rear brake and clutch combo. At slow speeds, your front brake can be grabby and tip the bike forward. Instead, gentle pressure on the rear brake will stabilize the bike and smooth out your control. Here's how to do it. Keep the throttle just barely open, ease out the clutch to the friction zone, and drag the rear brake lightly to regulate your speed. This trifecta of steady throttle, slipping clutch, and a touch of rear brake lets you ride at walking pace without wobbling. The bike stays balanced because the rear brake resists the bike's forward roll just enough to keep it from lurching. In fact, a light rear brake pressure is key to smooth, slow maneuvers. Practice this in an empty parking lot. Do slow figure eights or circles using the rear brake trick. You'll find you can almost creep along as steadily as ever. This technique is a favorite of motorcycle police and advanced riders for tight turns. It might feel weird at first to keep a bit of throttle while braking, but trust us, it works like a charm. Mastering the rear brake at slow speed is the #1 cure for the wobbles and those dreaded parking lot tip-overs. Give it a try and watch your low-speed confidence soar. Number 5, counterbalance at low speeds. High-speed cornering and parking lot. U-turns are two very different animals. The secret is knowing how to position your body for each. At speed, you naturally lean with the bike and the machine is one unit carving the curve. But at low speeds, you actually want to do the opposite. Lean the bike, not your body. This is called counterbalancing. Essentially, in a tight, slow turn, you keep your body more upright while the bike dips beneath you. Ever watch an expert rider or motorcycle cop do a full lock turn? The bike is tilted way over, almost scraping, yet the rider's upper body is relatively upright, acting as a counterweight. By shifting your weight to the outside of the turn, you prevent gravity from pulling you down into a fall. At normal speeds, you don't really have to think about this. Physics naturally leans you into the turn along with the bike. But under that speed, counter-steering stops working and direct steering takes over, so deliberate counterbalancing is your friend. To try it, find a wide parking lot and practice slow, tight turns. Turn the handlebar full lock left and gently let the bike lean while you stay more vertical. You'll feel the bike turning sharper without falling inward. It's a bit unnerving at first, but once you get it, you'll navigate U-turns and slow swerves like a pro. Lean the bike, not yourself. That's the low-speed mantra for solid balance. Number 6. Be smooth on the throttle. Abrupt inputs are the enemy of balance. Imagine you're carrying a full cup of coffee while walking. You wouldn't start or stop with a jolt, right? The same goes for your motorcycle's controls. Smooth throttle control is crucial to keeping the bike stable. Roll on the power gently and roll off just as gently. If you whack open the throttle or chop it closed, the sudden weight transfer can unsettle the bike, causing a lurch or wobble mid-turn. This is especially important when cornering or riding on slick surfaces. Any jerky motion can upset traction and balance. Likewise, be smooth with your brakes. Grabbing a handful of front brakes with the grip of death will nosedive the bike and throw off your stability. Instead, progressive braking squeezing brakes gradually keeps the bike settled. A pro tip is to transition between throttle and brake smoothly. Roll off the throttle before you brake, and ease back on the throttle as you release the brake, like a dance. This prevents that seesaw effect that can wobble the bike. Treat your controls not like on and off switches, but like dimmer dials. Every input should be gradual and intentional. Your motorcycle will reward you with a smooth, balanced ride. As the saying goes, smooth is fast. Practice being buttery with those hands, and you'll find your balance improving with every ride. Number 7. Mindset and practice. Mental state plays a huge part in motorcycle balance. If you're tense, scared, or overthinking, your body will stiffen up and throw off your ride. So the secret here is twofold. Stay calm and practice regularly. First, trust the bike and physics a bit. As long as you're moving, the bike actually wants to stay upright. Above around 10 miles per hour, your motorcycle stabilizes itself due to gyroscopic forces and its design. In other words, you don't have to consciously balance a bike at speed, it balances itself. Remembering this can give you confidence to relax. If you feel a wobble starting, don't panic and slam the brakes. Often, giving a tiny bit more throttle can actually stabilize you, since a bit more forward momentum equals more stability. It's counterintuitive, but as one writer said, speed is your best friend, to a point when it comes to staying upright. Of course, we're not saying go crazy fast, just don't instinctively creep at ultra-low speeds when you don't have to. The second part is practice. Balance on a motorcycle is a skill, not a talent. The more you do those slow maneuvers and quick stops in a safe lot, the better your muscle memory and confidence. Even a champion rider admitted he used to hate slow maneuvers until he took a course and practiced. Then the difference was night and day. And with training and practice, anyone can learn to do it. So find an empty parking lot and dedicate 15 to 20 minutes occasionally to practice these secrets. Do figure eights, practice stopping smoothly, walking the bike with the clutch, etc. Start slowly, breathe, and don't be afraid to put a foot down while learning. Each session, you'll feel your nerves fade and your balance improve. Stop making these 9 oil change mistakes. They're killing your engine. Number 1. Using the wrong oil. Pouring cheap car oil into your high-revving motorcycle might seem harmless, but it's a major mistake. Motorcycle engines, especially modern ones, often use one oil supply for the engine, transmission, and clutch, so they demand specific formulations. Automotive oils contain friction modifiers that can make a wet clutch slip like crazy. In other words, the wrong oil turns your clutch plates into a skating rink. If you regularly use car oil or the wrong viscosity, expect clutch slippage, power loss, and even overheating in your bike's engine. The short-term savings aren't worth the long-term damage. How to avoid it? Easy stick to motorcycle-specific oils with the proper JASOMA/MA2 rating and the grade your manual recommends. If you've been doing this right all along, give yourself a high five your clutch and gearbox. Thank you. Number 2. Overfilling the oil. If a little oil is good, a lot must be better, right? Wrong. Overfilling your motorcycle's oil is like giving it a cholesterol overdose. Too much oil can get whipped into a froth by the crankshaft, turning your lubricant into bubbly foam that can't properly protect the engine. It also builds excess pressure inside the case, straining seals and causing leaks. Signs of an overfill include blue exhaust smoke or oil seeping from gaskets. Riders often overfill by ignoring the manual's capacity or misreading the dipstick. The fix: measure carefully and add oil slowly. Use the sight glass or dipstick on level ground to stay between min and max. If you accidentally go over, don't run the engine and drain the excess immediately. Remember, your oil sump isn't a swimming pool. Keep the level in the safe zone to avoid a foamy, gasket-blowing mess. Number 3. Not adding enough oil or checking level properly. Running your engine with too little oil leaves critical parts starved of lubrication, meaning increased friction, overheating, and possibly total engine failure. Often, this mistake happens because someone didn't do the final oil check. After pouring in new oil, you must run the bike for a couple of minutes and then recheck the level once it settles. Fresh oil fills the filter and oil passages, which can drop the level slightly. Skipping this step can leave you unknowingly underfilled. Checking a motorcycle's dipstick on level ground is an essential step to ensure proper oil level. Always inspect the sight glass or dipstick, with the bike upright, not on the kickstand, to make sure you're at the correct level. If you find you're below the minimum mark, top it up immediately. And if you're already diligent about maintaining the right oil level for a good job, your engine's internals are smiling. Number 4. Skipping the oil filter change. Trying to save a few bucks by reusing the old oil filter? That's a false economy and a big mistake. The filter's job is to trap dirt and metal particles, and by the time you do an oil change, it's loaded with gunk. Slapping in fresh oil but keeping a dirty filter is like mopping the floor with a filthy mop. You immediately contaminate your clean oil. A clogged filter also restricts oil flow, reducing lubrication and speeding up engine wear. Some riders skip filter changes out of laziness or the misguided idea that it looks clean enough. Don't do it. Change the filter every single time you change the oil. It's usually required by the manual. Use a quality filter that fits your bike. Cheap knockoffs might not filter properly or could fall apart. The few extra dollars for a new filter are nothing compared to the cost of an engine rebuild. Number 5. Over-tightening the drain plug or filter. Tighter is better does not apply when installing your oil drain bolt and filter. Many DIers turn into the Incredible Hulk on these parts, only to cause damage. Over-tightening the drain plug can strip the threads in your engine's oil pan or even crack the pan, an expensive fix. Similarly, cranking the oil filter too hard can crush its rubber gasket and damage the sealing surface or threads on the engine. The result? Oil leaks and a ruined day. Remember, most oil filters only need to be hand-tight plus a small tweak with a wrench. Check your manual for the exact spec, but it's never as tight as possible. And that drain plug? Tighten it to the proper torque, usually just a bit beyond snug. Calm down on the brute force, tighten to spec, not to your ego, and your bike will stay leak-free. Number 6. Not tightening things enough. The flip side of over-tightening is leaving things too loose, and it can be just as lethal for your engine. An under-tightened drain plug can slowly vibrate out and dump your oil mid-ride, or simply leak it out drip by drip. An oil filter that isn't snug will dribble oil once the engine is running at pressure. Warm oil draining smoothly from a motorcycle engine, be sure to secure the drain plug and filter afterward. Maintenance experts warn that if the drain plug or filter isn't tightened properly, oil can leak out and cause dangerously low oil levels. The solution: double-check your work. When you finish an oil change, verify that the plug is torqued to spec and the filter is on tight, hand tight plus a bit. There's no worse feeling than seeing a puddle under your bike because something was left loose. A few extra seconds of vigilance can save your engine. Number 7. Reusing old crush washers or O-rings. That little copper or aluminum washer on your drain plug might not look important, but it's more crucial than you think. Crush washers are one-time use seals designed to deform and create a tight seal each oil change. If you reuse an old washer or forget to install a new one, you're risking an oil leak around the drain plug. It might not gush out immediately, but even a slow drip will lower your oil level and make a mess of your bike over time. Many skip the washer thinking it's no big deal until their bike starts marking its territory with oil. The fix here is as easy as it gets. Always use a new crush washer and replace any O-rings the service manual specifies. If your plug or filter cover comes with a sealing washer or ring, make sure it's in place and fresh. Number 8. Draining oil with a cold engine. Don't be impatient. Draining your oil when the engine is stone cold is a surefire way to leave a lot of dirty oil behind. Cold oil is thick and doesn't flow well, so sludge and contaminants stay in the engine instead of draining out. The right move is to idle your bike for about 5 minutes before you start the oil change. Warm oil flows out faster and carries more gunk with it, giving you a more complete drain. Also, crack open the oil filler cap before draining. This lets air in and prevents the vacuum effect that slows down oil flow. With these simple steps, the old contaminated oil comes out thoroughly, so it won't mix with your fresh oil. Take the extra time to warm up and you'll get cleaner engine internals and oil that stays fresh longer. Number 9. Ignoring oil change. Intervals. Maybe you've heard the saying, oil is cheaper than engines. It's true. Neglecting regular oil changes or stretching them way too long is like slow-motion engine suicide. As oil ages, it breaks down and turns into sludge that doesn't lubricate or cool effectively. That sludge can quietly wreak havoc, blocking passages and causing accelerated wear. Modern motorcycles run hot and rev high, which means their oil works hard and needs changing on schedule. Push it too far and you might notice your engine getting noisy or your gear shifts feeling rough as the tired oil struggles to do its job. It's easy to procrastinate, but unless your bike has an oil life monitor, you need to stick to the schedule. Follow your manufacturer's recommended interval. Avoid these 9 mistakes and you'll be a hero to your engine. Doing oil changes right means a smoother ride now and a longer engine life. Use the correct oil, the right amount. Tighten everything properly and stick to your schedule. Now give your machine the care it deserves. Happy wrenching. 9 traffic mistakes every new rider makes. Don't make them. Number 1. Assuming other drivers see you. New riders often trust that car drivers notice them, which couldn't be further from the truth. Motorcycles are smaller and easily overlooked in traffic. A driver might check their mirrors and still miss you in a blind spot, or not bother checking at all. One of the most common crash scenarios is a car turning across a motorcyclist's path because the driver didn't see the bike. Don't assume you're visible. Ride like you're invisible and everyone is out to get you. This means using your headlights, wearing bright or reflective gear, and positioning yourself where you're most likely to be seen. In urban traffic, keep a keen eye at intersections. Drivers turning left may never notice you coming. On the highway, stay out of blind spots and give yourself room to maneuver. Riding defensively 24/7 might just save your life. Number 2. Overconfidence and speeding. That adrenaline rush from riding can trick new riders into overconfidence, leading to reckless behaviors like speeding. The freedom of a bike is awesome, but don't let it override your common sense. Many beginners accidentally break the speed limit simply because a motorcycle's acceleration and speed feel so different, you may not realize how fast you're actually going. Blasting down a highway or zipping through city streets like you're invincible is a huge mistake. Remember, respect the bike's power and the road rules. Overconfidence also shows up when new riders take on challenges they're not ready for, like jumping straight into dense city traffic or high-speed motorways before building skill. It's okay to be excited, but ride within your limits. Dial it back a notch. Take it slow on that twisty road, and don't try to keep up with experienced riders who blow past you at 90 miles per hour. Confidence is earned through experience. Until then, err on the side of caution. Number 3. Skipping practice and training. Riding a motorcycle isn't just hop on and go. It's a skill that requires practice. A big mistake new riders make is neglecting training once they have their license. Mastering clutch control, smooth shifting, quick stops, and swerves takes time. For example, if you never practiced panic braking in a parking lot, you might fumble when a car stops short in front of you. Lack of practice can lead to embarrassing stalls or, worse, dangerous errors in traffic. Even something as simple as a low-speed U-turn can topple you if you haven't honed your balance and control. Don't rush into busy urban traffic or highway riding until you're truly comfortable with your bike. Instead, find an empty lot or quiet back road to drill those basics. Consider taking a motorcycle safety course or advanced riding clinic to sharpen your skills. The more you sweat in practice, the less you bleed on the street literally. Number 4. Neglecting safety gear. Feel the temptation to ride in a t-shirt and sneakers because it's hot out or you're just going for a quick ride? Resist it. Skipping proper safety gear is a rookie mistake that too many riders make. A motorcycle doesn't offer a steel safety cage. Your gear is your protection. Helmets, gloves, jackets, sturdy pants, and boots are not optional. In a crash or even a minor tumble, quality gear can be the difference between a scary story and a hospital bill. New riders sometimes underestimate road rash until they literally face it. Also, don't forget visibility gear. A black helmet and black jacket might look cool, but they make you harder to spot on the road. Bright colors or reflective strips can help other drivers see you from a distance. And of course, always wearing that helmet with a DOT-approved lid is proven to massively reduce head injury risk. Smart riders dress for the slide, not just the ride. Number 5. Poor signaling. Turn signals are your voice on the road. Use them. A common mistake new riders make is not using their indicators properly. Maybe you're not yet familiar with the turn switch on a bike, or you're so focused on operating the motorcycle that you forget that little flashing arrow. It's more common than you think. Forgetting to activate the blinker happens a lot with new motorcyclists. The result? Other drivers have no clue where you're going, which can lead to some hairy situations. For instance, if you skip the signal when changing lanes in traffic, a car might not anticipate you and could cut you off. Conversely, riding for miles with your blinker accidentally left on can confuse drivers. Someone might pull out in front of you thinking you're turning off. Communication is key on a bike. Always signal your turns and lane changes early, and double-check that your indicator is off afterwards. It might feel like a hassle, but that little flick of a switch can prevent a lot of close calls on both urban roads and highways. Number 6. Following too closely. In a car, many people develop bad habits like tailgating. On a motorcycle, those habits can be deadly. New riders often misjudge following distance. Because bikes are nimble and have shorter stopping distances, you might feel you can ride closer wrong. Tailgating is a serious mistake. First, if the car in front slams the brakes, you may not react in time, especially as a beginner, and you could end up embedded in their bumper. Second, following too close gives you a poor view of road hazards ahead. If there's debris or a pothole, you'll see it late and have no room to maneuver around it. Always maintain a generous cushion in front of you. Remember, at 70 miles per hour on the motorway, things happen fast. You want distance for reaction time. Also, when coming to a stop behind a vehicle, don't crowd their rear. Stop far enough back that you can see their tires on the pavement and offset slightly to one side. This gives you an escape path if the car behind you isn't slowing down. In short, back off the throttle and give yourself space. It's one of the simplest ways to avoid a collision. Number 7. Bad lane positioning. Keeping distance is critical, but so is lane positioning. Too many riders pick a spot in the lane and stubbornly stay there, not realizing how much it affects visibility. Hugging the far right might feel safe, but it makes you nearly invisible to drivers pulling out of side streets. Drift too far left, and suddenly you're sitting in the blind spot of a car or van. That's how riders get sideswiped or cut off without warning. The fix? Actively manage your lane position. A motorcycle isn't locked into a single strip of tarmac. You own the whole lane, so use it. If you're riding beside a car, don't linger next to their rear quarter panel where you vanish from mirrors. Either accelerate ahead or ease back until you're clearly visible. The center lane is often the sweet spot because it places you directly in driver's line of sight. At night, or when visibility drops, position yourself so your headlight is squarely in the mirror of the car ahead. And when it comes to trucks, never hang out beside them. Pass quickly or fall back. Semis have blind spots the size of small houses. Smart lane positioning means constantly asking, "Who can see me right now?" If the answer isn't obvious, adjust immediately. Number 8. Tunnel vision. Riding requires multitasking. Throttle, brakes, balance. It's a lot. New riders often get tunnel vision fixating on what's right ahead and forgetting to scan around. This target fixation is natural when you're learning, but it can go too far. If you stare straight ahead at the car in front or a point on the road, you might miss critical cues. The pedestrian about to jaywalk, the car edging out of a driveway, or the van 2 lanes over that's swerving. In traffic, threats come from all sides, so you must keep your head on a swivel. Continuously check your mirrors and do shoulder checks before lane changes. Anticipate what others might do. Is that car at the intersection about to roll through the stop sign? Is there an escape route if it does? It's a lot to process, but you'll improve with practice. Make a habit of scanning left to right at regular intervals and checking mirrors every few seconds. Don't let your gaze lock onto one object. Widen your view. Remember, staying aware of your full surroundings and traffic conditions is crucial to safe riding. Break the tunnel vision, stay sharp, and you'll be much more likely to spot hazards before they become disasters. Number 9. Neutral at stoplights. Rolling to a red light and kicking into neutral feels harmless until it isn't. Sitting in neutral at stops is one of those rookie mistakes that puts you in serious danger. If the car behind isn't paying attention, you've got zero chance to react because your bike isn't ready to move. Those 2 seconds it takes to click into gear, that's the difference between rolling away and getting crushed. Keep the bike in first, clutch pulled in, and you've got an escape plan. Glance in your mirrors. If a car barrels toward you without slowing, you can launch forward or dart sideways out of harm's way. Sure, it's a touch more clutch wear, but that's pocket change compared to hospital bills. Pro move. Stop slightly offset, not dead center, so you've got room to swerve. Tap your brake light a few times on approach, stay in gear, and never sit like a target. 9. Embarrassing mistakes. Beginner motorcyclists always make. Don't make them. Number 9. Half-helmet hero syndrome. Nearly every beginner likes to feel cool, which usually means fewer clothes. But riding without a full kit is a recipe for regret. New riders often treat helmets and pads like optional bling, shrugging off gloves, jackets, or boots on warm days. That bravado is not only scary, it's dangerous because even a slow slide at 30 miles per hour can shred skin, bones, and pride. Imagine the embarrassment of pulling off the road with a torn sleeve and sanded knee. It's a rookie badge of honor nobody wants. Fix it. Gear up as soon as you slide on the saddle. A DOT-approved helmet, armored jacket, sturdy gloves, and boots aren't extras. They're essential crash gear. Think of it this way. Wearing the right kit won't slow you down, but it will save you from permanent road rash or worse. Every serious rider vows, better safe than hospital, and you should too. Slip on those gloves and zip that jacket, trust us. Number 8. Speed demon. Wannabe. One of the most common rookie flubs is thinking you're a warrior after just a couple of rides. You zip through parking lots like Valentino Rossi on 2 wheels and head out onto the highway as if you've been doing this for years. We all love speed, but blaming slow traffic is no excuse. Overconfidence can yank the rug out from under you literally when a fresh corner or traffic merge pops up. As one expert bluntly notes, some beginners think they've mastered riding after just a few trips or a weekend course. Newsflash. That attitude sets you up for wipeouts. Fix it. Pump the brakes. Respect your limits. Start on quiet roads or parking lots before tackling switchbacks or urban mayhem. Remember, big bikes on the highway are totally different from your first parking lot loop. Even pros practice the basics daily. Slow down, control throttle and brakes deliberately, and build confidence gradually. Like the Texas Motorcycle Academy advises, don't skip formal training. It's made clear that winging it creates unnecessary risks. Number 7. Blinker blunder. Here's a classic that's almost funny until it causes a crash. Beginner riders love to tap turn signals and then forget to turn them off. You'll often see them sitting at a light, hand-waving in confusion as their flasher still flecks away. This isn't just a comic, it's confusing or dangerous. A perpetually blinking signal tells other drivers you're about to turn or change lanes when you aren't. That miscommunication can lead to a bumper tap or angry horn symphony. Fix it. Form a signal-off habit. Every time you weave or stop, give a quick glance to your dash. Did your indicator light turn off after your last turn? It's like a reverse gear check. One simple tip from riding instructors is to cancel your blinker before cutting the throttle again, or just do a quick head check at the next stop. Even if it feels a bit obsessive, it beats the embarrassment of leading an ambulance parade or rear-ending the Prius behind you. Check it, double-check it, and ride on. Number 6. Tunnel vision and blind spots. Riding is 360 degrees, but many newbies only see straight ahead. This ride-in-a-bubble mindset means they miss hazards coming from sides or behind. It's easy to do on a bike. Zooming feels different than in a car, and suddenly you realize the gap you're closing on that scooter was a lot smaller than you thought. According to riding safety tips, new motorcyclists often overlook surface conditions and fail to scan sides and mirrors constantly. Pair that with missing a head check on a lane change, and you've got a recipe for disaster. Fix it. Always keep your eyes moving. Practice a quick left-right-left head check when merging or changing lanes, even if the paint from your mirror looks clean. Mirror check every few seconds. Glance at that pothole ahead and know what the cars beside you are doing. One savvy trick. Imagine you're a 3D video game character rotating your head. This way you won't be the rider who takes up a car's blind spot. Stay alert and you'll avoid being the punchline at the next highway surprise. Number 5. Brake panic. Ever seen a rider see a cat or a kid on a bike and just freeze? Instead of a smooth stop, panic sets in. Brake or throttle in a nervous shake. New riders often yank the brake too hard or chop the throttle when spooked instead of smoothly modulating both controls. This abrupt move easily upsets the bike's balance. In practical terms, it means the bike jerks, fishtails, or even low sides right in front of the SUV next to you. In a word, it's embarrassing and dangerous. Fix it. Practice calm. In emergencies, squeeze both brakes gradually and don't grab one as if it's your life raft. Bike handling pros suggest find a parking lot and practice different emergency braking techniques, as one training guide recommends. Getting comfortable with hard stops builds muscle memory. Also, learn to feather the throttle and control the clutch at low speeds so your bike doesn't buck. The fewer surprises your own reflexes make, the fewer embarrassing insta-stalls or slides you'll give your passengers. Number 4. Clutch calamity. Nothing spells newbie like stalling at every traffic light. Half of us have been there, the bike lurches, the engine dies, and suddenly you're wobbling to keep balance while cursing the curb. Stalling is a very common rookie error, but hearing that hardly makes it less cringeworthy. When a car is closing in and you accidentally drop to first instead of neutral, it can bring traffic to a screeching halt and your confidence even lower. Fix it. Nail the friction zone. This means slowly find the point where the clutch starts to grip while gently rolling on throttle. Practice this on flat ground until you can set off smoothly without drama. Even the pros test this on a daily basis. Start in second gear if you have to, and remember, it's fine to stall a bit while learning, but you must fix it with practice. Consistent practice makes starting as automatic as breathing. Soon those embarrassing stalls become history. Number 3. Brake sponge. Guess where all your bike's stopping power lives? In the front brake. Yet many scared beginners almost ignore it, trusting only the rear pedal. Using just one brake is a big mistake, as one safety article bluntly puts it. It's like having a dual car brake system and only pushing the back pedal. The result? Much longer stops and a higher chance of skidding that rear tire. You might find yourself dragging your feet at stops, afraid to squeeze the front, which is both embarrassing and dangerous. Fix it. Get friendly with the front lever. Start gently. In traffic or parking lots, tap the front brake light on and off to feel its power. Then practice progressive braking. Apply the front brake gently, then add rear to finish. Eventually, this becomes second nature. Remember, a common safety tip is to use both brakes smoothly together, not babysit the rear alone. With time, you'll have shorter stops and no more policing from tailgaters wondering why you never brake properly. Number 2. Bike neglect. Imagine running out of gas on the highway or losing power because you ignored that last tire pressure warning. It's mortifying. Beginner riders often forget to give the bike some love, treating maintenance like that diet they never start. Worn tires, loose chains, or empty tanks are not only embarrassing, but also dangerous. Safety guides warn that ignoring maintenance checks can cause accidents, a loose chain could snap, and low oil can lock up your engine. And yes, running out of fuel because you were sure you had more miles is a shocker that leaves you stranded in style. Fix it. Perform a quick ABC check before every ride. Air, brakes, controls. Check tire pressure, brake function, oil levels, and make sure your fuel gauge isn't flirting with empty. Experts note that a 5-minute manual read can save you from many headaches. And fill up before you hit half tank. It's simple courtesy to yourself not to get waved down on the roadside. By staying on top of maintenance and fueling, you'll turn what used to be wreck maintenance into pro maintenance. Number 1, license to chill. Saving the best for last. The number 1 embarrassing mistake is riding like you don't need lessons. You got that license, so now everything is a video game, right? Wrong. Skyrocketing right onto busy streets without the fundamentals is arguably the most reckless slip-up a newbie can make. The Texas Motorcycle Academy is crystal clear. Attempting to ride without receiving formal instruction creates unnecessary risks. Many beginners figure they'll pick it up as they go until they're on foot after a fall. Fix it. Take a course or at least get some one-on-one coaching. Professional instructors teach techniques that transform you from spastic to smooth. Even after a course, continue practicing slow-speed drills on weekends. Like the Academy notes, common beginner mistakes include both overconfidence and neglecting formal training. Learning the right way from the start isn't shameful, it's smart. Put in the reps behind a trusted trainer or with a mentor, and you'll avoid most oops moments that plague untrained riders. Biker secrets you aren't supposed to know. Secret number 1, the sacred language of patches. Every patch on a biker's vest tells a story or carries a rule. For instance, most clubs have a progression of 1-piece, 2-piece, and 3-piece back patches. A 1-piece patch means you've pledged yourself or are affiliated. A 2-piece means you're in transition. Only full members earn the 3-piece colors: a top rocker, a center logo, and a bottom rocker. If someone is wearing all 3 rockers, they're not a poser. They're full patch, with loyalty proven over time. The bottom rocker isn't decorative either. It literally marks territory. Insiders know you cannot slap on any local name or club letters unless you truly belong. Even more important, never wear a patch or club emblem that you didn't earn. This rule can be a literal survival code. Merely buying an outlaw club logo or imitating it is seen as a sign of disrespect or even provocation. You might think it's just for looks, but in biker culture, it's like wearing a cop's badge without being an officer. In fact, explicitly forbidden MC letters or Hell's Angels initials on a jacket can get you in serious trouble. And don't ever even touch another rider's patch as a greeting. It's considered as rude as grabbing a cop's shoulder. Treat these colors like sacred territory on a map. Insiders read every symbol. Number 2, 1%ers and 13. Some patches aren't just club logos, they're secret messages. The diamond-shaped 1% patch is the most notorious. It harks back to 1947 when the American Motorcyclist Association famously said 99% of bikers are law-abiding and 1% are outlaws. Outlaw clubs embraced that 1% label and made it their own badge of honor. So if you see a diamond 1% patch, you're looking at a rider who's part of the hardcore outlaw fraternity, not a casual weekend cruiser. Even hearing a rider casually mention, "I ride 1%, is a deep cultural code. It means they follow their own rules, not society's. Equally cryptic is the small patch with the number 13. To an outsider, it just looks like an unlucky number, but to insiders, it often stands for the 13th letter of the alphabet, M. In outlaw slang, that can mean marijuana or meth, or more broadly, a rebellious middle finger to the norm. Some clubs use it to quietly signal membership in the outlaw world, or to honor a fallen brother. A 13 isn't just a number, it's part of the outlaw dialect. Police and old-school riders might read it with suspicion, but actual bikers know it's a nod to tradition and defiance, sometimes even worn jokingly by riders who just love the culture. Number 3, the biker wave and handshake. Ever notice how riders don't just wave normally? The classic Harley salute is a low 2-finger V wave. As you pass another biker, you drop your left hand to your hip and extend two fingers in a peace sign shape. It's a subtle salute that says, "Ride safe, brother," but rookie riders don't always catch it. This handshake on the road is so standard that Harley-Davidson's own insurance guide points it out as the biker greeting. There's even a biker passenger handshake. If you ride a pillion and see another bike, you can slide your foot off the peg and extend it back toward the other rider. It's a quiet way passengers acknowledge each other on the highway. Along with the two-finger wave, these signals are little tests of insider status. If you're a Harley newbie, start with the low wave. It's a sign you understand the code. Mess it up and a real biker will probably just laugh or give you a gentle correction, but getting it right earns an immediate nod of respect. Number 4, ride signals and the sweep rider. When you ride in formation, there are secret jobs and signals at play. The rider at the very back of the pack is often the sweep or tail gunner, and they're crucial. An experienced pack never leaves a man behind the sweepsticks with the group to fix any issues and ensure no one falls out. While it might look like they're lagging behind, the sweep is actually the guardian of the group's safety. If something happens to a front rider, the sweep quietly communicates it to the leader. The Vikings Bags Guide explains that the sweep's job is to stick together with the group and handle emergencies. In other words, the rear rider is your safety net, unseen but absolutely relied on. Meanwhile, riders use a silent language for hazards. Got gravel or a pothole on the right? Extend your right leg out toward it to warn the pack. Left side danger? Point left. Spot a cop in the distance? Instead of screaming, just tap the top of your helmet with your hand. These gestures slip through the line. The first rider may see the leg or helmet tap behind him, but cars around won't notice. All of this happens without a word. A grassroots rule is that if you flag something, everyone else knows. These quiet signals keep an outlaw pack rolling smoothly and safely, something a lone rider or uninformed cruiser wouldn't guess at. Number 5. Nomads and lone wolves. Not all patches mean club hood. A nomad patch isn't for the guy who just decided to ride solo. It means something very specific. A nomad is actually still a full patch member of an MC, just without a local chapter. Clubs sometimes appoint trusted riders as nomads to help recruit new chapters or cover territory. They still follow every club rule. They just don't have a state or city rocker on their back. So if you see nomad on someone's vest, know that he's inside the MC world, not outside it. Interestingly, calling yourself a nomad after quitting a club is frowned on, as it's seen as betrayal of loyalty. Real nomads ride solo for the club's sake, not for their own. Contrast that with the lone wolf patch. This one means exactly what it sounds like. The rider isn't in any club at all. It's used by independents and by supporters, and it's harmless to wear. Clubs know a lone wolf patch is just someone flying solo. It doesn't provoke anyone. So if you want to ride alone but still respect the culture, a lone wolf patch is safe. But putting on a nomad rockers without club permission? That could get you confronted by members who see you as a pretender. In short, nomad and lone wolf aren't just fashion, they signal your status. Number 6, ride or die. Among outlaw clubs, the motto is essentially ride or die. Once you're in, there is no safe way out. The old biker saying goes that a member either retires by death or decades of service but never quits. If you leave in bad standing, you've just made enemies of brothers who used to be family. Viking Bags bluntly states, if you are a full-time member and 1% a patch holder, understand that there is no way out. You can never leave in good standing. These clubs trust that once you take that patch, you carry their secrets forever. For example, some 1% clubs even require riders to cover at least 20,000 miles a year to keep the patch. Why? Because it proves your priority is the club and the road, not life at home. To outsiders, it sounds extreme, but this is the code. Remember the Hollister legend. AMA said, 99% of bikers are law-abiding, 1% are outlaws. Those who accepted the 1% label embraced a world of loyalty above all. Before earning full colors, a wannabe must usually spend years as a hangaround and prospect, proving trust. It's a grind. If you're not ready to commit your life and time to a club, insiders will warn you to stay out of it. This isn't a club. It's a brotherhood where turnouts have historically meant exile or worse. Number 7. The last salute. Finally, bikers honor death with the same intensity as life. Losing a member isn't just a sad day, it's an occasion for full ritual. Clubs will organize a massive escort. Bikes line up, engines rev, and even momentarily the pack formation reflects the missing soul. One common tradition is the last rev. At a signal, all riders throttle their engines in unison to salute the fallen two wrenches. Often, a missing man is symbolized in the procession to represent the deceased's two wrenches. In many places, bikers remove helmets together during the ride or at the grave as a gesture of respect for two wrenches. Academics note that funerary rites are deeply woven into biker culture. There's a well-known piece of advice in Harley lore: ride like every car driver is trying to kill you. And at funerals, it takes on double meaning, a reminder of how easily a rider can be lost. Families sometimes choose to drape a rider's colors on the casket, or even scatter ashes from a moving bike. Through all these axe engine roars, leather armbands, spur on the right boot, the message is clear. Every lost rider is still one of the crew. As long as one biker lives, those traditions keep the memory alive. 9 signs. You're still a beginner rider, even if you think you aren't. Sign number 1. You're skimping on safety gear. Riding without proper gear is the classic newbie mistake. Maybe you grab just a helmet and shorts for a quick city jaunt, believing nothing bad will happen at low speed, but accidents don't check your plans. The Motorcycle Safety Foundation insists on a DOT helmet, armored jacket, pants, gloves, and boots for every ride. Even on a short neighborhood ride, shirking gear is dangerous. Think of it this way. Skin and bones heal slowly, but a good jacket, gloves, and boots can prevent serious injury. To fix, before each ride, suit up completely with no exceptions, no just around the block. The smartest riders always gear up, because cover-ups keep you safer in traffic, or if you slip on gravel. Number 2, you ride with tense arms. Notice how tight your arms and shoulders feel on the bars. New riders often clamp down with locked elbows, hurting control. In reality, you want the opposite. Loose on top, tight on bottom. Grip the tank firmly with your thighs and press your heels down into the pegs, while keeping arms and shoulders relaxed. This is exactly what instructors teach. When you grip with your legs and relax your hands, the bike's gyroscopic forces stabilize you rather than fighting them. To fix, practice the wiggle test. On a quiet road, wiggle your elbows gently. If you can do it, you're loose enough. If not, consciously loosen that grip. A relaxed upper body gives you much better feedback and control as you turn or encounter bumps. Number 3, you don't look far enough ahead. Beginner riders often stare at what they fear: the pothole, the car's bumper, the ditch, and sometimes crash right into it. By contrast, experienced riders scan the road far ahead. They move their eyes and head to where they want to go, especially in curves. As one guide puts it, look through the turn as far as you can see and face the direction you wish to go. In practice, this means constantly scanning 2 to 4 seconds ahead and even 12 seconds for long-term planning. Take action on your next ride. Make a conscious habit of moving your eyes, not your front tire, toward the exit of every turn or the next intersection. That simple "look where you want to go" rule helps avoid obstacles and shift balance smoothly. Number 4, you ride too close behind cars. Following the vehicle ahead at a hair's breadth is a beginner's telling. You might not feel fast when you're creeping behind traffic in the city, but that slim gap leaves almost no time to react. Safe riding requires a buffer. For example, the accepted rule is at least a 2-second gap to the vehicle in front under ideal conditions. Many trainers even suggest a 4-second gap for everyday comfort. In practice, pick a roadside marker. When the car in front passes it, count 1001, 1002. If you reach the marker before 2 seconds, back off. To fix, consistently keep a car-length cushion on city streets and far more on a highway at speed. Give yourself time. At highway speeds, doubling or tripling that 2-second rule is smart. The extra space ensures you can brake or swerve safely if traffic stops suddenly ahead. Number 5, you only use one brake. Are you that rider who barely touches the front brake? Many beginners underuse the front, relying on the rear brake alone. That's a big mistake. The front brake provides about 70% of your stopping power. Using only the rear leaves you taking longer to stop and risks skidding the back wheel. Instead, learn smooth combined braking. When you need to stop, roll off the throttle, gently squeeze the front brake lever, and then add a little rear brake with your foot. This distributes the load and shortens your stopping distance. Find an empty parking lot and practice stops. Aim to apply both controls progressively. You'll feel the bike squat forward under good braking. That's normal. Make sure your front lever is set at a reachable position. With practice, grabbing both brakes smoothly will become second nature and make your stops far safer. Number 6. You've never practiced an emergency stop. I once had a student who bragged he didn't need practice and then he froze in a sudden stop. If you've never intentionally practiced hard braking, you'll panic the first time it's needed. Motorcycle insurers emphasize, don't panic, stay cool, and then apply both brakes firmly and smoothly in an emergency. To build that reflex, go to a deserted lot and do drill stops. At 20 to 30 miles per hour, brake as hard as you safely can, then release if you feel a skid. This shows you the limits of traction and the bike's behavior. Repeat until your body and bike know what to do. To fix, schedule practice sessions. Every few weeks, pick an open place and do a series of emergency stops. Over time, you'll react instinctively and calmly when a child darts out, or traffic ahead slams on its brakes. An experienced rider trains deliberately. If you're skipping this, it's a clear sign you're still at a novice level. Number 7. You rush through corners instead of slow. Look lean roll. As you gain confidence, you might speed up into every turn thinking it's faster. But proper cornering always starts by slowing first. The mantra, slow, look, lean, roll, is no joke. This means slow down before the curve, look through the turn, then lean the bike and roll on throttle smoothly to hold your line. If you skip slowing or don't fully look through, you're riding poorly. To fix, on your next ride, consciously check your corner entry. Brake early, look far out through the curve, and only then lean. Even on a highway sweeping turn, this sequence keeps the bike stable. Many riders think speed alone will carry them, but mastering slow entry and throttle exit makes cornering safer and more predictable. Number 8. You underestimate traffic hazards. Some riders get complacent in familiar territory. You might, for instance, zip through neighborhood streets assuming nothing ever happens here, or accelerate on a green light without double-checking. That's dangerous. In fact, even on a side street, collisions can occur and hazards don't vanish just because speeds are lower. And never trust traffic signals blindly. Beginners often take a green at face value, forgetting that distracted drivers or red light runners exist. To fix, cultivating constant vigilance. Whether on city streets, highways, or rural roads, always look ahead for open spaces, oncoming cars, or a pedestrian about to cross. Slow at every turn or intersection long enough to scan left and right. Remember that a parked car on a suburban road can suddenly pull out, or a driver might turn unexpectedly on the highway entrance ramp. By acknowledging that any road can bite, you'll preemptively scan and control your speed, instead of assuming it's safe. Number 9. You're complacent about improvement. You may have passed the MSF course or ridden a few years and feel like, I've got this. But even veteran instructors warn, you should never stop learning. Every rider builds small bad habits over time and needs an occasional reset. If you haven't taken any advanced lessons or sought out new challenges, that's a sign you're coasting. To fix, adopt a learner's mindset. Consider an advanced riding class or structured drills. Even reviewing basics like clutch control, emergency maneuvers, or cornering technique can reveal blind spots. As Motorcycle Mojo advises, those with decades under their belt still benefit from tuning up their skills. Continual practice, whether it's slow speed drills or track days, ensures you keep progressing. Every ride is an opportunity to refine. Staying humble and curious will make you a much safer rider in the long run. Keep learning. Recognizing these signs in yourself isn't a failure, it's a chance to get better. Even skilled riders periodically review the basics. Now that you know what to watch for, challenge yourself to correct these habits. Seek out training, Practice deliberately in different conditions and never assume you've graduated. A truly responsible rider stays alert, keeps learning, and refines technique continuously. Embrace that mindset every ride. It'll make you safer, smoother, and more confident on any motorcycle you ride. Safe riding starts with self-awareness, never stopping improving.